Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Good morning. It's time to get up. Wakey, wakeys, and bakey. It's time to get up! Wake up, bitch! Time to get up!
Can't believe I'm going to admit this, because I don't like loud things anymore, but I'm beginning to enjoy that bit. I have no rational reason why. My goodness, that gal.
I like her.
That was my feeling as well. You should watch the video. It's even better watching her scream it.
Wake up, bitch, she says. Video, what is that that we're listening to? Who is that?
I couldn't tell you who she is. A listener sent that in yesterday, and I thought, well, that's fantastic. We got to start the show with this.
I'm beginning to enjoy it.
I like it. I liked it right away.
Wake up, bitch. All right, so now it's Wednesday, which is good. It's good. It's good. And we welcome all you crazy bastards to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. When we were kids, Cubby, my dad used to wake us up by singing to us or by finger drumming on our bedroom doors. He was the original finger drummer in the family.
That's a nice way to wake up.
I'm a finger drummer. I got my skill set from the old man. I learned it from him.
My mom would just start off like whispering. She would try to do it quietly. Hey, Ashley, honey, it's time to wake up. Gosh, and then I would yell back at her.
Yeah.
Like such an a-hole.
You snap.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Like, I know what time it is.
I know it's time to get up.
10 minutes later, do you know what time it... I didn't. I guess I didn't know what time it was. Sorry, Mom. That's so mean.
With your impending son's birth, you're starting to think back to how poorly you treated your own mother.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I've been thinking about that since I moved out.
Can I do this without... Can you hear that?
Yeah.
That's what the old man, we'd come up to our bedroom doors, and he had an exact rhythm that he would go with. I'm just trying not to break this microphone. It was... And my finger space here is limited, but it was kind of like this. You can't hear it well enough. But I can sing you the song.
Do it.
This was the song when we were little kids. Once we got a little older, he stopped being cute about it. But when we were little kids, this was the song. And I bet you some of you will recognize it. Good morning, it's grand to be on hand. Good morning to you. I believe it was from a musical called possibly Singing in the Rain.
Oh, I've never seen that, but a friend of mine's dad was obsessed with that musical. He used to sing stuff from it all the time.
Really?
I've seen different variations of that song. I've never known like that middle part there. What was it? It said, good morning.
It's
good
grand
morning.
to be on hand.
Yeah, I usually fill it in with whatever I can think of.
So he would very happily sing that to us when we were little kids. Once we got a little older, he'd just crack open our door and say, hey, it's grand to be on hand.
Sometimes I'll sing singing in the rain for whatever reason. I guess when it's raining, certainly that comes to mind. But just if weird songs pop in my head.
I think that's where that came from.
It was. I just looked it up. I thought maybe it was Sound of Music, but you were right. It's Singing in the Rain.
Josh, sing the song that my dad taught you to sing to your family.
Oh, I'll do my best. I can't hear out of one of my ears, so everything sounds really weird.
The ear infection's gotten even worse. Now he can't hear out of one of his ears.
Yeah.
Cat medicine not working?
I think the cat medicine made it worse. I'm coughing up fur balls. I asked my wife for some affection yesterday, and then she gave it to me, and I immediately scratched her in the face for no reason.
Oh, man.
Things have been weird at home.
But now one of your ears are locked up. What was the song? By way, through me, I taught you a song. Another song that my dad would sing to us when we were kids, and this was about keeping your body clean.
And I sang it yesterday.
You did?
When I got out of the shower. Who's got the cleanest body in the family? I do, that's who. And then, for whatever reason, when my kids were really young, it would enrage them. Where they'd say, well, no. Like my youngest son, for example, is the biggest offender here.
Things got violent?
Well, he's like, no, I've got the cleanest body in the family. And I'd have to say, well, how? Let me ask you something. How's that possible? I just got out of the shower.
If you just got out of the shower, easily you have the cleanest body in the family.
If I had hair, it would still be wet.
Right.
I just got out of the shower, and you've been laying here like a lump the entire time.
Yeah,
I obviously have the cleanest
Talk about
body.
an unreasonable argument.
Yes.
I'm going to
made
use the
by
heck
your-
out of that. That is so smart.
Yeah, that
Genius.
was, when we were little kids, we were filthy little bastards, of course. You know,
Yeah.
we never wanted to bathe. And so the old man motivated us by turning it into a contest. He would come firing out of the bathroom with a towel around his waist after a shower, and he would sing, who's got the cleanest body in the family? I do, that's who. And then me and my brother would say, well, I want the cleanest. So then we would go, what if... It was interesting when we were young, continuing on the topic of sleep. We played the wake up bitch lady to start the show again. And I talked about how we were woken up as kids. My brother simply refused to get out of bed for school. Once we got into high school, especially. He was late damn near every day. He would just refuse to do it. Where I couldn't wait to get to school most days because I loved it so much. Our mother finally gave up on trying to help my brother get out of bed by the time we were in high school. She just said, F you. If you're not going to get up, I'm not going to try and help you anymore. It was fascinating and very strange to me. He would simply refuse to get out of bed. And I would even try. As I'm fully dressed and ready to leave, I would even open up his bedroom door and say, why don't you just get out of bed? He just wouldn't do it.
Did you stay up late?
No, not as late as I did. Hell no. Hell no. He just effing refused to do it. Have you slept through anything significant in your lifetime?
No, luckily.
Nothing?
No, I get anxious about that kind of thing. So I'll set multiple alarms or else I just won't be able to fall asleep. Yeah, thankfully I haven't. I thought I had. We've all mentioned that, and people listening now might have had the same experience where if you're up this early and you have this type of hours, in the wintertime, you'll see it's 5:15 and you realize, I took a nap. It's still dark out at 5:15.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think you slept through work or whatever.
Oh, that gets so confusing.
I've had that panic moment, but thankfully I haven't.
That happened in college once where I slept straight until about 5 o'clock at night. Went to bed at probably 5 in the morning. Woke up, I'm like, oh, wow, it's still morning. Look, I got a whole day ahead of me. Oh, no, it's Saturday night and it's 5 p.m. and it's dark in St. Cloud right now. That's a day wasted.
I'm a heavy sleeper once I'm out. And I feel like I'm the best napper that's ever played the game. Career numbers, my career numbers, nap numbers cannot be, how do I say that? Can't be touched.
What's your average nap time after the show each day?
Couple hours.
Couple hours?
Yeah, I
Couple
can't
hours.
do that.
I can't either.
I'm the
Can't
best
do it
in the
anymore.
business.
I used to.
Oh, I thought you were 4 hours, Ashley. I thought you kind of were outrageously long as far as napping.
Before you
yeah,
got
I was
pregnant,
up
you
there.
were.
Yeah, now I can't sleep worth crap.
Before you got pregnant, you were.
Where were you at? How many hours a day?
Yeah, about 3. Yeah, and now that's completely ruined. For example, I woke up at 1:30 this morning, and that was that.
You were up?
Now I'm here. Yep.
So I feel like I'm a Hall of Fame level napper. Once, I don't know, maybe this isn't significant. You tell me. I slept through my graduation. This is just one example. I guess, I am a great napper, but I can't think of many significant things I've missed because I was asleep. But I did sleep through my graduation at Brown Institute. That's all I can. I mean,
that's not too bad.
no, I mean, who cares,
to you.
right?
Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't you slept through an important final or something like that.
No. So, I mean, I remember thinking, oh, God, because they told us, 5 p.m. tonight or whatever, come back to the school. You'll receive your little certificate for completing Brown Institute, the old radio school that used to be here in town. And I think just because I had been burning the candle at both ends for so friggin' long, radio in the morning, school in the afternoon, and then work in the evening, that when I was finally off the hook for one of those things, school, I fell asleep, and it was like my body finally let go of some of the tension or stress that I must have been under, and I slept right through the whole ceremony where they hand you the certificate. I did feel sort of bad about it, but I moved on maybe 10 or 15 minutes later.
Have you ever slept through a significant, dangerous weather event?
No, but back to my old man, he was infamous for that. He could sleep through any... He slept through the worst thunderstorm I've ever seen in my life.
Dirt Foreman Jesus slept through a tornado. He woke up and the roof was gone.
Oh, my God.
I always wake up to storms.
Oh, man. Can you imagine? Okay, I'm obviously still dreaming. This is a lucid dream right now.
Dang, dude, you were
The roof is
out.
gone.
That's something.
My oldest, Cam, would, you could pick it when he was like 5, for 5, 6, 7 even. My wife would be able to pick him up by the ankles and he would stay asleep.
Oh, my
He would
gosh.
sleep through anything.
Maybe that's an undiagnosed case of something or another.
Oh, necrophilia. I believe that's what that's called.
Yeah, that's what he's got.
He's got, like, it's really bad, necrophilia. But he could sleep through pretty much anything. And I don't know if that's still the case. You know, he's moved out for many years now, but he was a very, very deep sleeper.
I believe it was the summer of '86, and you probably can look this up, you know, if you like. The summer of '86, there was a thunderstorm that came through town that dumped, maybe it's still a record amount of rainfall. And it was just a violent thunderstorm. I don't know that there were any tornadoes, but it was a violent, loud thunderstorm. Downpours, like I said, I believe it set records that might still be there. And my brother and I were at my dad's place. He was asleep. You know, I've mentioned this before. He worked his entire life as an over-the-road truck driver. There were some days where he wouldn't go to work, and you're just kind of living on the fly. When do I try and get some sleep? That was the game he always played. When are they going to call me to work? You never really knew. So you needed to sleep on demand. I could never do that, but my dad had that skill. He could just say, oh, I just found out I have to drive to Kansas City in 6 hours. I'm going to sleep. And he'd be out. It was unbelievable to watch, but he had that skill set.
I'm jealous of that.
He had gotten home from the road, and he was beat, and he hit the sack. This horrible thunderstorm came through. How he slept through it, I have no idea, especially when you learn that the rain was so brutal. Our window wells were filling with water, like you fill up a glass of water. And water is cascading into the basement like what was that old movie where the ship tips over? The ship
Poseidon?
Poseidon event, thank you. My brother and I are running around the basement, hollering at each other with buckets, trying to keep. And the storm finally ended. The basement was trashed. It was madness. And an hour later, the old man wakes up and says, "What the hell happened here?" I'm like, "You never woke up the entire." It was something to see. He truly was skilled in that department. Just I think because
Staying awake so long on the road.
Sure, but the thing was, Josh, that he could wake up after being asleep for 8 hours, and then the trucking company would call and say, "We need you at this time." He could go back to sleep.
Oh, really?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd be up.
It wasn't because of exhaustion always. He could just, oh, great, I just woke up, but now I got to go back.
I've been lucky where I can fall asleep pretty much instantly. Unless there's something going on that I'm, thinking I can't stop thinking about, I can fall asleep pretty instantly. Staying asleep sometimes is a problem.
One of our listeners slept through an earthquake when they lived in California. Oh, we've got a fellow Brown Institute graduate listening to the show. I'm a Brown Institute graduate of electronics. That is a drunk Uncle Firefighter Jesus.
Oh, well, I didn't know they had I didn't know they had other programs there.
It's been so many years I don't remember. But that place was a lot of fun. It was fun.
It always seemed fun. I wanted to go. It was just so expensive. But
Yeah.
I'd already worked here, so I thought, boy, I should probably learn how to do this, and someday I will. But I was already here I was promotions, and back then, well, maybe they do now. I guess I'm not sure. There's been so many companies around, but we used to get paid, right? So that was my job. I'd work all these promotions, and I thought I should probably learn how to do other things.
Oh, I'm so
here.
glad that you didn't, because as we both learned, you didn't need to go there.
It was just so expensive.
In order to work here. That was what...
No.
You're told you are, right?
Didn't we have the same experience? I mean,
It's crazy.
Or maybe we did not, because you never went to Brown.
I didn't attend it. I went there like for the orientation and just to find out about it.
Where
and
you read the paragraph and they told you that your mispronunciations
No, I never got that far. It was
Okay.
just like a meeting about, hey, here's what we do, here's what we can. Now, here's the thing. Sure, you're working promotions at the station. You're never going to have a career there. You got to move. You got to kind of work your way up from some small towns.
Right.
And then they showed me the tuition. And even so, I mean, when we had younger guys come in here and say what they're paying, it was probably twice what they even told me it was going to be. But I thought, wow, I couldn't do that.
I paid for it forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had very small monthly payments and paid for it forever. And I had a good time, and I met some cool people there. But what I learned was once I got here, and I started working here while I was still going to Brown. And, of course, the people at Brown kept telling me, oh, no, you don't want to start in a major market. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, they told me I was already screwed.
And I would say, well, but I've already been hired. But, I think they got some – when they would plant you in Montana, when they would place you in Montana, that gave them, I don't know, money or some
type of kickback?
Some type of kickback. So they wanted to send you to Montana and South Dakota. I don't know how it all worked, but –
Why wouldn't you want to work for a bigger station?
What threw me was when I walked into this place, I thought, well, everyone here must have been educated on some level in broadcasting.
I thought the same thing.
Which wasn't true. I found out that I was about the only one who actually went to a broadcasting school, and I felt like, what the hell did I do that for if everyone else in the building just walked in and said, I'd like to work here? So I felt silly about that. But I remember the first day walking in, so you didn't read the paragraph.
No, it was just kind of like a salesperson, basically, that I talked to.
I went into the school. They sat me down, and then they sent me up to some guy's office, and they handed me an advertisement. Come to Tommy's shoe store for the best in tennis shoes, leisure wear, flip-flops, and casual. And I read, right? And the guy just said, here, read this. And I read it, and the guy said, I had my hopes set on this. I even talked to someone down in the office about the finances of it all. Then I go to the guy's office. He tells me to read this ad. I read it, and the guy says, yeah, it's not going to work.
What?
And I said, what do you mean it's not going to work? He said, yeah, you pronounce this incorrectly. Your S's sound this and that. I don't think this is for you. But what I learned later is that's what they said to everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that was their way to motivate you, or some kind of a mind F. In the end, I had the money, or I didn't have the money, but I was prepared to pay the money, and so they let me in. But the whole thing, thinking back, it was kind of shady. They did everything they could to talk me out of working here.
That's so weird.
And now maybe I should have listened to them. No. But they really did. Like, I've already been hired. No, you can't do that. We'll send you to Dubuque. But I've already been hired here. Weird thing. It was weird in some ways, but I did enjoy myself there.
Oh, geez, Jesus said in Afghanistan he slept through the sirens telling them their base was getting hit with mortars.
Oh, my gosh.
So does that mean you slept through the mortars as well? Man, that guy can sleep.
That's some sleep right there.
Oh, man. We could all use a little more sleep. All right, what else is going on around here? The Booze Cruise coming up in just a couple of weeks. June 27th, out there on the St. Croix. Thanks to the folks at Stillwater Riverboats, Warner's Dock. Oh, speaking of footwear, an advertisement for footwear, Red Wing Shoes is helping us out with that. Be listening this morning. We'll get you on the booze cruise. Check out our website if you want some more info. And the only way to get on this pig is to listen and win. So we're only a couple weeks away from that damn thing.
That'll be fun. Looking forward to it.
You still look forward to these, Josh, even
do.
though you always, talk yourself unconscious?
Well, at this point, that's become such a bit. If I ever end one of those and I still have a voice, I'll think my job wasn't done. I didn't talk to enough people.
I'm going to stand here in the parking lot and talk to anybody who will listen until this voice is gone.
That's pretty much it.
You're a talking machine. Speaking of talking,
Yeah, I love those events.
speaking of jaw-jacking, Ashley tells us that this weekend she's attending a wedding where she is the maid of honor. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Maid of honor.
Well, this must be from someone you know your whole life, just a cherished friend.
Best friend?
No.
Who are you maid of honoring for?
It is my fiance's brother's fiance.
What?
What?
All right, so wait a minute. How long have you known this person?
Fiance's
2.5 years.
So you-
probably when I met her, 2.5 years.
So your future sister-in-law.
yes, there you
Okay.
go.
Do
That's, that's a good way to put it.
Do you spend time with her?
On like family occasions.
So you do. So it is one of the relatives that you would see every once. in a while.
Yes, definitely.
But you guys don't one-on-one at all? Like, just go hang out and just the two of you?
No, we have not done that yet.
Well,
Well,
here's the-
actually, I guess we've done it once, but it was wedding related. So,
So
I don't know
you
if that
know
counts.
this lady or not?
Yes.
Oh, you do. But here's the thing. You've never given a maid of honor speech before. You tell us you have zero clue what you're doing. You could use some help.
Yeah, I'm super nervous. I don't know if you guys knew this. I think you knew this, Nick, because you've watched me try to record a video on my cell phone of me talking before. But I'm really bad at talking when I know other people are watching. It makes me really uncomfortable, and
Oh, I think most people
It's
have
weird.
that same issue. Everyone's
I
staring
hate
at
it.
you.
Yeah.
Josh refuses.
worst at it.
He hates it. He
I used
refuses
to not
do
have
it.
that problem though. All throughout high school, I was totally fine. I killed presentations, nailed it. But all of a sudden, once I got into my 20s, I just don't want anybody looking at me.
So you're nervous because you're going to be standing in front of a big crowd and it'll be all eyes on you.
Yes.
You know what you got to do? You're very pregnant. You got to make some sort of reference as to maybe Jeremy is not the father.
Just to make a huge joke about
Maybe
Whether or
maybe
not
somebody
he's the
should
dad.
reconsider walking down the aisle today.
That's not a bad idea. Make some kind of joke about your pregnancy and maybe the baby does not belong to your fiance. Loosen the crowd up with a joke.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
you cry on command or something like
I
that?
could cry on command. I could do that.
So what is it that's troubling you? Just the speech in general, or the idea that the person you're speaking for, maybe you don't know them as well as you should
Both.
for this gig? Both of those
I would
things.
say both, yeah.
Well,
I was thinking maybe just I don't know, have you guys ever been to a wedding where it's just a quote about love? Or do they always get personal?
I kind of tune out, to be honest. I don't know if I've really paid too much attention.
I've paid attention to best man and maid of honor speeches, and the majority of the ones that I've seen in person, it was personal stuff, and it was a couple of stories, a couple of ball-busting jokes. I don't remember ever seeing one where someone just dropped a cute anecdote and then walked away. Sorry to say, people might look around and say, what, that's it?
Yeah, you're not getting off the hook that easy, Ashley.
Fun size Shiza said you just fake going into labor, and then you can get out of it.
Brilliant.
Oh, gosh, contractions, gotta go.
Oh, no.
So will this be during the ceremony, or is this just in the reception?
The reception, the dinner
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I think that's better.
Everyone passes at least the maid of honor and the best man pass the mic back and forth. And
Or
do
at
their-
least I believe it's during the dinner.
So
that
you
would
don't-
be a nightmare if it was at the ceremony. I would fold. No.
I thought that one of the three dads of your wife, Dana, did a very good job in his part. He was very funny.
Now, that one I did tune out.
Oh, you did?
I like that one.
I took notes on that
That's the
one.
best
That
one.
whole evening I was tuned out.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I talked to him afterwards. That was one of the better ones I'd seen.
Yeah, he was solid. He really was.
Yeah, that guy can really give a speech. And that was during the ceremony.
Yeah, it was.
Well, you're in a tough spot then because it's public speaking, which nobody loves. You've never done a wedding speech before, and you don't really know too much about this lady. I'm kind of wondering why you were put in this position. But anyway,
You must have made an impression.
she must really like you.
Yeah,
The the advice that I could give you from, well, I've done a few of these, and I'd love to say that I knocked it out of the park, but I don't think I did. For one reason or another. Once I had way too much to drink before they handed me the microphone, and
Yeah.
all I can tell you is, if you're going to do, and this probably isn't possible since you don't know this lady terribly well, you probably don't have a lot of inside jokes between the two of you, do you?
No, not yet.
Okay. Because what I've seen is if you tell too many inside jokes that are only interesting to the speech giver and the target of the speech, you lose the crowd
Yep.
and everyone just...
Inside jokes are the worst.
Yeah.
I watched one wedding speech where the best man was the brother of the groom, and it was 100% inside jokes between the two of them. And we wanted to throw our dinner plates at the. Speaking of dinner plates, Josh and I were at that wedding where the best man gave his speech, and then it came time for the maid of honor to give her speech. Right, Josh? Mm-hmm. And the bride grabbed the mic away from the maid of honor, and she said, look, I'm out of here. Everyone sitting in the reception right now, just pick up your dinner plates and turn them upside down. And so we did.
It
and
was crazy.
On the other side of the dinner plate,
God.
there were pictures of the groom having sex with the maid of honor.
What?
That is
And
nuts.
that's why the wife walked out on the...
It was just like the time we did that, but it was in the bottom of the chairs where you had just to reach and
Right.
grab what was taped
Under the
underneath.
bottom
Yeah.
of your...
Wow.
Same exact thing.
Crazy.
Have you guys not heard that that world-class lie that people tell you once in a while that they were...
Yes.
Okay, good. Because that never happened. But that was like an ongoing thing. Hey, you ever hear about that wedding where there were pictures on the bottom of the chair? That never happened. It's like the I went to school with the Rangelo and Lamangelo story. Everyone claims it happened. It never happened.
What will help me giving this speech as the maid of honor is that my fiance is the best man. He ended up actually. He's a backup. He's a backup best man. I'm not sure what happened
Things
to the
happen.
original, but
Things happen.
and so he has to give a speech as well.
Well, do a tandem thing then.
No, it's not a bad
you
idea
can
at
do
all.
that. Can
Yeah.
you do that?
Do it. You can do whatever you want. Do a tandem thing.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Both of you can work on your material together.
That's a good idea.
Maybe sing
Yeah,
it.
I don't think he's ever written a speech in his life. I'm actually pretty excited to see how
I might wanna-
he is when he talks in front of people.
I might want video of this. This could be a total disaster.
Oh, yeah, I bet
But
there'll be some.
if both of you have limited experience, and I get a little annoyed by couples things. We've got a shared Facebook page. I don't like couples Halloween costumes, but in this situation where the both of you are beginners and you're not exactly where to go with it, maybe you should team up, write some comedy, sing a duet.
That'd be fun.
I don't have a name to this person here, but it says, I gave the speech at my brother's second wedding. I started the second speech with, welcome back, everyone.
That's wonderful.
That's a great line.
That's not bad
Can't be
at all.
mad at that. That's great.
So take a little pressure off both of you and maybe team up.
It's a good idea.
All right, we got to get going. It's a wonderful Wednesday, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. Before you know it, we'll be back with the Stupid News Report on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I am Tom Welling.
Welcome to Talkville,
where it's fun to talk about Smallville.
We're going to be talking to sometimes guest stars. Are you liking the direction Lois is going in?
Yeah, because I'm getting more screen time.
That's good. But mostly it's just me and Tom remembering.
I think we all feel like there was a scene missing here.
You got me, Tom.
Let's revisit it. Let's look at it. See what we remember.
See what we remember.
I had never been around anything like that before. I mean, it was so fun.
Talkville. Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Let's get into it.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
When the hell did we get peanut M&Ms?
We have peanut M&Ms? Did you bring those, Ashley?
I'm looking. No. I'm looking at my trash can right now. There's an empty bag of peanut M&Ms. When the hell did we get peanut M&Ms? That's my favorite friggin' candy.
Whoa. Those that was garbage from my backpack because some stuff spilled in my backpack. But we do have them. They are at the front desk.
What? Just handed out?
Yeah, she always has a little dish of candy for people that come in, and then she has a secret stash that she told me about.
I thought those were birth control pills.
Nope.
You know what that can do to a girl my age?
Dude, they're so good, though. Those are my favorite, too.
All right. Okay. Thankfully, Ashley has an explanation. That's garbage that came from your backpack. But just I'm not going to lose my cool here, Ashley. I'm going to keep my composure. Okay. But anytime you see peanut M&Ms in this friggin' building, you come and you tell me.
What will you do?
I'll remember that.
If someone gave you peanut M&Ms,
you know how I am with candy.
What are you going to do?
Chomp it up.
You chomp it up, Ashley.
All right, Ashley. Here's the deal. If you're just joining us, Ashley has to make a maid of honor style speech at a wedding this weekend. Something we discussed a little earlier. She's never done such a thing, so she's a little nervous about that. She doesn't like to speak in front of a crowd. She's a little nervous about that. And she doesn't really know the bride terribly well. Why you were selected, who knows? But it's too late to try and figure that out. The gig is yours, and you got to get it done. So she needs help. We offered up, I think, some decent advice. Don't make too many of your jokes inside jokes. And we covered the fact that would be actually quite impossible since you barely know this woman.
Normally, I'd tell you to be relatively sober, but in your condition, being pregnant as you are, I know you will be.
I have to be. Maybe that's why I'm more nervous than usual. It's because I have to be so sober.
No beer or alcohol. Yeah,
Nothing.
that would add to it. Everyone should be able to loosen up with a few drinks before an episode.
Oh, that would help so much.
But you can't do any of that. You can't take drugs. You can get a baby cooking. Some other advice we gave you. Some folks texted into the show, 651-989-9393, and said, use AI.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I wonder if AI could do a decent speech.
Loosen the crowd up with a joke is another piece of advice we gave you. Here are supposedly, these don't sound so bad to me, but here are supposedly some of the dumbest jokes dumped during wedding speeches. We didn't think this day would ever come, especially after what happened in Cabo. I'll tell you. Do you remember that?
That would be great. Actually, I should say that because I think everybody in the room would be like, when did they go to Cabo?
Yeah, just make up a bunch of fake inside jokes and just to mess with people's minds.
That's not a bad idea.
She said she was at a convention in Sandusky.
And I'll make sure like it's around the time that I would have conceived.
Yeah. About 7 months ago, we went to Cabo.
When he was staying in our house.
That's not a bad idea. Inside jokes that would cause the crowd to say, wait a minute, when the hell did the... Just grab the mic and say, well, this is something. One recovering drug addict speaking for another. Like, wait a minute, when the hell was she on drugs? We know Ashley was on drugs. When was the bride on drugs?
I still remember the first day we met in rehab, and it changed my life.
The Sodfather Jesus has given a best man speech for his cousin. And he started his speech saying, the best man speech should last as long as the groom does during sex. Thanks, everybody. And Witten sat down.
All right, here's another bad wedding speech joke. If this doesn't work out, there's always divorce. And nobody has to tell you that, right, Ashley? He finally found someone who will put up with his conspiracy theories and foot stuff.
Oh,
that's actually kind of funny.
That would get me if I was in the audience.
I would laugh at that for sure.
Yeah.
Here's something that no guy... Something that no guy wants to hear on his wedding day. You know, you're sitting there with your new bride and a speech is being made for you where somebody said, let's be honest. Well, this is a maid of honor speaking about the bride. Let's be honest, you were kind of a mess before you met him. No guy wants to hear wait a minute.
No.
You're a mess? What do you mean?
This person said, I saw a best man open his speech with the entire beginning to Prince's Let's Go Crazy. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. Delivered all with a straight face. The old people were amazed. The young people laughed their asses off.
That's kind of fun. I love that.
Nicely done. All right. Well, we can try to give you some more advice leading up to the weekend.
Thank you.
You'll be all right.
I think you're going to do great.
You'll be all right.
If I do bad, I can just blame it on being pregnant somehow.
You guys like Chris Rock?
Sure.
I'm a fan, yes.
Yeah.
I'd say one of the most brilliant comics ever. And certainly one of the best that I've ever seen in person. I even liked him, Josh, in the role of Pookie the Crackhead in the movie New Jack City. Did you see New Jack City?
I haven't seen the full movie. What I saw wasn't the best, but I didn't give it a full viewing.
It's not the best. Wesley Snipes.
I love Wesley Snipes.
Iced T.
Sure.
Chris Rock. What's his name? We just referenced him recently. He played John Bender, the bad boy, in the Breakfast Club movie from 1985.
Judd Nelson?
Judd Nelson. There's others in there I'm sure I'm forgetting about.
Mario Van Peebles.
Oh, well, there's always... Mario Van Peebles is always in there somewhere. Pookie had a line in New Jack City where he told his girlfriend, he said, you used to be the prom queen, now you're just a prom fiend, he said. So anyway, many years ago, before Will Smith had an emotional breakdown on television and loosened Chris Rock's jaw for him.
I forget about that sometimes.
God, that was great. Many years before that, Chris Rock had a single in the year of 1999 called No Sex in the Champagne Room. I remember playing that once or twice.
Oh, there's champagne in the champagne room, but you don't want champagne. You want sex.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no sex in the champagne room.
He had a hit single. Dana remembers it. Here's a guy for you who wasn't even born by 1999, so maybe we give him a pass on this one because he's likely never heard the song. A 21-year-old kid got arrested at a topless joint called Oz Gentlemen's Club. This friggin' clown, he called 911 and complained that a stripper wouldn't have sex with him.
Bummer.
Now, the story says here, he's originally from Saudi Arabia, which doesn't have strip clubs. So he probably wasn't familiar with how things work around here. He said to the 911 operator, his direct quote was, I requested sex from a staff member. I gave them $300, but they took me to a private room and did not give me sex.
I always thought that's what happened back there. I've heard stories.
Well, it can.
I thought that was kind of the given, right? You go back there, you got enough money, that's going to happen. Or some sort of sex act is going to happen.
Not in every joint, Cubby, but some of them.
It's got to be such a fun phone call to get as a 911 operator.
Yeah, I don't know if that necessarily warrants a 911 phone call, but maybe just a poor Yelp review.
I'll show him.
So $300, the $300 that this kid gave a stripper over there at Oz Gentlemen's Club, that's the price of their 30-minute VIP champagne room package, the VIP experience. Hand them $300, they'll take you there. Don't you know? But he thought it meant we're going to up and do it. He was still on the telephone when the cops got there. The cops reported that the kid, the young man, smelled like hooch. He was slurring his words, and he had a hard-on.
Oh.
It's a great condition to be in.
It turned out he just turned 21 last week. He was arrested for misusing 911. Now, I didn't see his mugshot. Anything interesting going on there, Josh, with his mugshot?
No, not really.
Did he have a look on his...
looks like a college student more than anything.
Did he have a look on his face as if he was saying, I don't understand the rules around here?
No, he kind of had a look on his face like, is this for real? Is this happening? Is this real life?
So, yeah, he didn't quite get it. He thought he was going to get it on when he handed that gal $300. No, that's not how it works everywhere, bruh.
Hey, that's news to me. I would never call 911 over such a thing, but I'd probably call you, Nick, and say, hey, you want to know how big a loser I am? I couldn't even get laid in the champagne room. So it would be a relief to know, well, that's not a given.
Well, Josh, we have a song for you to listen to. From 1999, the Bigger and Blacker album by Chris Rock.
Yeah, Fauché Maintenance Ninja, I agree. You'd expect at least some over-the-pants hand stuff. Like, I thought there'd be, like, some grinding or something, and an orgasm would be the prize. For $300?
Yeah, it depends on how you were raised, I guess, what you expect back there. And
I'd be afraid to ask, but I would assume it was just kind of built in.
Oh, no question is a dumb question. It depends on who you are. It depends on the joint, what that kind of money will get you. I went to a boom boom room in the middle of nowheres, and their VIP room was a janitor's closet.
Seriously?
Yeah. And were there rules in the janitor's closet? No, there were not.
Did it look like a janitor's closet?
It was a janitor's closet.
So
Mop and everything?
There wasn't like a fancy chair and a light?
There was a chair, the same chair. The chair you're sitting on is fancier than the chair they had in the janitor's closet slash, what did I say, VIP room.
That's funny.
That was the gimmick.
What in the world?
Yeah. Oh, no. I suppose maybe you want to try out a fun video this morning. And we can hook you up with that, by God. And Ashley can jump in when I get done with the opening explanation and let us know where to find this video. Who knows? Maybe this was a Will Smith-style mental meltdown, or maybe a fistful of hard bathtub drugs did this guy in. But I'll tell you this. He went ahead and he danced naked in public on the lid of a cop car.
Yeah, this is up on 93x.com.
Okay. He did. In California is where this dude got butt-ass naked, climbed up onto the cop car, and actually started cutting loose with his dance moves, even while the cop car was still moving. First off, did anyone recognize any of the dances, or was he going with original moves?
I don't know a lot of those dances, but no, he was so blurred out, it was kind of tough to tell what he was doing.
Yes.
You danced for us a week or two ago, a dance that you learned watching a ball game or something.
I forgot about that. That was wonderful.
What you did looked as if it was organized. Was that just improv, or were you performing an organized dance?
I think it was something I saw somewhere. Like somebody, one of you guys brought something up, and I...
You probably don't remember it.
No, I remember, because I had just seen the video a day or two prior.
Okay, I'm curious if this guy was going with original moves Or was he doing, did he do the mashed potato?
Do the mashed potato.
What about the boogaloo? Boom, beatin', beedle-dee-doo-doo. Boney Maroney!
I want you to watch my wife and kids do the Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. For a second Will Smith reference this morning.
Third,
actually. How to do that.
Third, actually.
What was the other one?
Well, I referenced him getting slapping Chris Rock.
That's the one.
And then I compared this particular mental meltdown to Will Smith, the guy dancing on the roof of the car. Now this is the
I was commenting on the second one you made. Yes, so
you've said many times that your wife can knock out the Carlton, maybe even better than the Carlton.
She could fill in if Alfonso Ribeiro wasn't available. She could fill in.
That's so awesome.
She's very good at it.
So this whole nightmare started when a local cop responded to a call that someone was walking around naked on the sidewalk. D swinging. Oh, man. Don't you think, Josh, that cop, when he got that call, he took a deep breath and he said out loud, "Here we go."
Yeah. After a while, I'd imagine that's probably the majority of the calls.
As soon as the cop pulled up, the naked derelict jumped up on the lid of his car and started in with the dancing. The cop slowly drove into a nearby parking lot, I think for safety reasons. Let's get this guy off the street. Let's get it. The cop slowly drove into a nearby parking lot, and John Travolta up there kept things cooking. He kept dancing, even while the cop car was moving. And he was eventually taken to a hospital to try and figure out just exactly what the hell is wrong with this guy.
What is he on?
Yeah.
That's the sad part. I wish it was just kind of some sort of fraternity prank versus a dude that's obviously going through some real stuff.
Yeah, some type of crisis.
The Watusi. And what about the bird? I'm, of course, quoting the greatest musical performance in the history of film. And that was when Ray Charles performed Shake Your Tail Feather in the Blues Brothers. Been a lot of movies with a lot of musical performances. Nothing will ever top what Ray did that day over at Ray's Music Exchange in Chicago. All right, and then this happened too, also in California. Chips, dude. California Highway Patrol officers. Man. Yeah, Chips was huge.
I wanted to be Eric Estrada so bad.
See, I never liked the guys.
What,
I've told you this before. We watched Chips as kids. My brother just loved it. And I think he also had a massive crush on Eric Estrada, also known as Frank Pacharella. I just never... It didn't grab me.
Former head of the State Patrol, Matt Langer, he got us an autographed picture of Eric Estrada, and that was so cool. It just reminded me so much as being a kid watching that show and loving Poncherello.
What I did enjoy about Chips, though, now that I'm thinking back, is all of the cameos. They would have a lot of cameos. Late 70s people like Leif Garrett and Lou Ferrigno and who else? Like Cheryl Ladd. And I'm doing what I do every day and dating myself into a grave here. But maybe you can look that up, like some of the better cameos on Chips. They were very cool about placing the hot new stars into episodes. Sean Cassidy. All right. California Highway Patrol officers caught a driver in a BMW. Oh, he was going over 90 miles per hour, in and out of traffic, up and down and speeding all over. They saw that the driver had his cellular telephone up to his ear as well, which is against the rules. And here we go again. When the driver was pulled over, he admitted that he was speeding, and the reason he was in a hurry was because he was on his way to pick up what they call here a limited release of Pikachu Pokémon cards.
Those are so big right now.
Pika Pika.
They still are?
Yeah.
I've never played Pokemon. Does someone want to show me how to play?
You wouldn't enjoy it.
Honest to God, have no idea how to play like the actual card game. I just collected the cards.
Why wouldn't I enjoy it?
You catch
Because it's friggin' stupid?
You catch little monsters and have them fight each other?
You might like the cute little monster guys.
Is it anything like D&D?
I don't know anything
No,
about D&D, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I've never played the game, never owned a card. I've never done the video games, nothing like that. But I had a couple of friends that Pokemon Go, that was their life for a little while.
I never got into that.
There's videos all over. Speaking of the Pokemon cards and how big they are right now, there's videos all over of grown men like storming Costco's when they open to get all the packs, and people are upset. They're like, "This is supposed to be for children to enjoy."
Oh yeah, we've had a couple of those in the stupid news. It's kind of crazy. I mean, and I wonder if those guys really like it or if that's a money maker.
Oh, it's a money making thing. They buy them and flip them.
Now, I remember when Dungeons and Dragons first hit town. Early 80s, I want to say. And so I was a, 10, 12, some odd year old kid. And everybody was talking about it. And my mother gave me the Dungeons and Dragons kit, game, whatever you call it. And I remember being pretty pumped. And I went into my bedroom and I opened up, because it was a book, right, Josh? Like, choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, I never had it.
sweet.
But
Oh, okay.
I had always heard about it, and I've seen on TV people play it and stuff.
Okay. At least that was the version I received. There's probably D&D dorks listening right now saying, well, no, the first version was this, the second version was, and then they'll probably note what it is today. What I remember is it was an adventure book that was given to me, and you choose your own adventure. So I opened it up, and it was like, you are a knight in the woods, and you're walking, and the evil lord of bad guys is this, and you encounter him in the woods, and you've drawn your sword, and he has drawn his staff. Turn the next page if you'd like the adventure to go this way, but choose this page if you'd like it to go that way. And I closed the book, and I never opened it again.
So you didn't like
what?
those Choose Your Adventure books?
I loved those.
I loved those books.
For whatever
fun.
reason, it lost me instantly, and I never opened the book again.
I didn't know
Wow.
D&D was like that.
I think I have the right game. Again, straighten me out if you feel like it on our text machine. I thought that was Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't know what it was about that setup where they asked me to choose where the story goes next. I said, no, I'm not going to choose, and I closed the book.
Oh, I loved those so much.
My brother-in-law, he has like a huge Magic the Gathering online deal he does weekly. Just a whole bunch of guys get and play online.
Awesome.
All right, so this kid who got pulled over 90 miles per hour in California, he told the cops he was on his way to get the latest Pokemon cards. Was he telling the truth? Who cares? But he was pulled from his car. He was given a pretty good beating, and then he was issued a ticket.
Can you guys think of the dumbest thing you've ever raced for? You ever sped?
Oh, no.
Oh, geez.
Wow, that's a very good question. For me, as you know, Josh, 99 times out of 100, especially years ago, if I was driving very, very fast, it's because it was a code brown.
Oh, sure.
My stomach used to be a mess, and but I can't think of anything that I was in that much of a hurry to get my hands on or to see or anything like that. I've never been that type of a person.
Me either.
I can think of one time, and I felt really stupid when I realized what I was speeding for. It was to hit McDonald's before they switched to the lunch menu.
Oh, I've done stuff like that.
And it was
yeah.
leaving work here 20-some years ago, and I was like, God, I got to get out. I really need an Egg McMuffin. And it wasn't even that far. The McDonald's from us, our station, was not very far.
No, so you really gave it
Oh,
hell.
I hightailed it, and I thought, what am I doing here? I'll another day I can get an Egg McMuffin.
Everyone's had that moment of panic back
Yes.
when they used to have that switch over from the breakfast
They
menu
have it
to the-
again.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, no more all day.
But I don't
Heartbreaking.
think I ever stood on the gas for such a thing.
I remember some campus walk of shames trying to make it to the Burger King before they flipped it over to the lunch menu.
Dude, they're French toast sticks.
There's a few people here who have they regretted speeding to get to work on time. Well, I don't even want to be there.
Jeez.
Why am I doing that?
Or and then you're speeding to work where you're, working to make money. So if you get a ticket, it's like, all right, now I'm working for free today.
Yeah, but when you're in that mode, just like when you see, oh my God, it's almost 10:30, I need to get to McDonald's, you're not thinking right.
Yep.
That's true, because that stuff is well worth it. All right, you folks have taught me a thing or two about online neighborhood groups.
They're fascinating.
Where you go back and forth on what's going on in your neighborhood. Did someone get their garage broken into? Does anyone want to buy my old ping pong table? All that crap, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I tried one of those out when in a previous neighborhood. I had to get off it because I thought I don't really want to know this about some of my neighbors. Some of them were absolutely insane and total dicks about the dumbest stuff.
So petty.
Is it the same? Is
Yes.
it kind of like that now?
Very
I thought
much
that
so.
was going to be safe. I thought, well, that's not going to be like other social media. Boy, was I wrong.
It's not as bad as other people have experienced. I haven't seen too many posts where I'm like, what?
Well, that's good. Because I really didn't like it the brief amount of time I was on. I thought, geez, social media and that could be some guy in Singapore being a dick. But he's 2 doors down. I've seen him walking his dog, so I didn't want to know that about those people.
My mom will randomly invite me to these Facebook groups, for a neighborhood that I'm not a part of. And I join because I'm like, sure, Mom, why not? What do you want me to see? And then it's just people talking about what's going on, especially on Facebook. Those ones are fun.
Oh, the Facebook neighborhood
Oh,
groups?
the porch pirates.
People complaining about dogs barking or where you park your car on the street. All that kind of silly.
I like reading other people's drama, like when other people start to argue about something that makes no sense.
I did notice sometimes, well, it's like any social media, right? You see a post and then you're totally surprised that it blew up into some sort of weird argument.
Yes.
I wonder how that's-
Exactly.
Going back to speeding, this person texted and said, boyfriend got a ticket at 2 a.m. speeding over for a booty call before we lived together. You just got to have it sometime.
You got to have. Okay, there's a new online neighborhood group getting together in Pennsylvania, and they're not shy. They call their group Fill My Hole.
That's funny.
They're a ravenous crowd. Anybody want to tag in right away, or do you want to hear more details?
I know what it is.
Unfortunately, it's not the type of thing where wives are swapped and folded with reckless abandon. It's a group of dorks who aim to keep up with potholes and road hazards in their town. Again, their group is called Fill My Hole.
That's really smart. They've got a bunch of attention now.
You say this or you say that about a pothole on your street on the Fill My Hole website, and a road crew comes out and fills your holes. And then they make jokes on the website.
Well, you gotta.
Where once a job is done for you, they ask you, are you pleased with the way our crew handled your hole? I'll tell you what, Josh, if you're looking for fun, it's right here, baby.
That is fun.
Let's see, what else? What are the other sexual innuendo jokes that they make? They promote the fact that they will fill all holes, no waiting.
Oh.
Because I've seen some videos in the past, Josh, where holes are involved and there is a line, there is a wait.
Yeah, I've heard stories.
They note that some holes may require a little more TLC than others.
Got to be a little more gentle.
And then, of
There's
course,
one I can think of that I'm just going to drive around. That hole in my life is never going to be filled. I'm not going to. But they're,
that's
the
a
other
damn
ones,
shame. It really is. I know
I'm
the hole
totally-
that you speak of.
I'm fine with it.
What are you so scared of?
Oh, it's not a fear. It's just that there's no interest for me.
That's just a damn shame. Okay, and other folks make jokes, too, on the Fill My Hole neighborhood group. They ask questions like, can you fill a deep hole? Will you, how did they put this one? Will they clean a dirty hole before they fill it? These are the jokes, Ashley.
I didn't like that one.
I didn't like that one either.
No.
We got to take a break. Friggin' Sports is next.
Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text the word BOAT, B-O-A-T, to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the 93X Hams Booze Cruise on Friday, June 27th on Stillwater River Boats. Prize provided by Warner's Dock and Red Wing Shoes. The only way aboard is to listen and win. Head to 93x.com for more info. This contest keyword is good through Friday, June 13th at 11:59 p.m.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
know, but that ball's just smoked out to left field, and it is gone. Well, the home run ball has visited in these late innings. Langford with his 12th of the year. And the Rangers scored their 11th run of the night.
Oh, come on.
Ouch.
And they didn't stop at 11. They didn't stop there. They went all the way up to 16. The Twins were crushed at home last night by the Texas Ranger.
On Prince night of all nights.
And on Dollar Dog night. And on Dollar Dog night.
More importantly.
Friggin' Prince night. Dollar Dog night. You go ahead and act like that. Game 2 tonight. David Festa going to pitch for the Twins. And we'll get into this in much greater detail when Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver swing on by here in about a half hour. They're going to go ahead with Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, live from Indianapolis. The Minnesota Lynx are going for 10 wins in a row to start the season tonight. Boating is a sport, right, Josh?
Yeah, definitely.
We're getting on the boat.
Boat races and whatnot.
Do you like to
Those are
watch
fun to watch.
a boat race?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, speaking of boats, Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, was at the Mall of America over the weekend, I saw.
I went to
love
the
that
meet and greet.
Oh, you did?
No, I didn't, but I read about the meet and greet.
That would have been awesome. I would have been so jealous.
Dude, I missed it last time by like 5 minutes. It
Did
was
ya?
so heartbreaking. But I got to talk to the people that, run Twiggy or Twiggy's family, I guess. And
So they set up
It was
a
really
kiddie
great.
pool over there at the mall, and Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, put on a show.
Yeah, he was there over the weekend.
Pretty
He's-
fantastic to watch.
He's been doing it for decades.
Best in the business.
Yep.
Boating is a sport, and we're going to get on a big fat boat here in a couple of weeks. Here we go.
That startled me.
We're sounding the
You're
horn.
jumpy. You're a jumpy person.
I really am.
You are.
Right now, on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text the keyword WELL, W-E-L-L. Who's coming up with these keywords? What do you mean, like a live well?
Are we already out of words?
What does that mean?
Yeah, where there's no fishing on the boat.
We're not fishing off the day. We don't have a live well going. But that's the text WELL, W-E-L-L, to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win a 4-pack. You can bring 3 of your shady pals to our 93X Half-Ass Morning Show Independence Day Booze Cruise Friday, June 27th on one of those big old Stillwater river boats. I think they call it the Avalon.
That's the name.
And this prize is happily provided by the folks at Warner's Dock and Red Wing Shoes. Keep listening. If you fail this time around, you'll get opportunities between now and when we board that sumbitch. The only way to get on the ride with us is to listen and win. And you can go to our website for more friggin' details. We'll take a quick break and come back with Josh's news report next on the program.
93X
Half-assed morning show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I am Tom Welling.
Welcome to Talkville,
where it's fun to talk about Smallville.
We're going to be talking to sometimes guest stars. Are you liking the direction Lois is going in?
Yeah, because I'm getting more screen time.
It's good. But mostly it's just me and Tom remembering.
I think we all feel like there was a scene missing here.
You got me, Tom.
Let's revisit it. Let's look at it. See what we remember.
See what we remember.
I had never been around anything like that before. I mean, it was so fun.
Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Let's get into it.
Half-assed morning show.
They are in an alternate reality than ours. They are in that rock and roll rock reality.
They surround themselves with these professional dickheads.
And I'm not even really sure if they're aware, you know?
I don't think they're aware of how much they suck.
93X rocks.
I have a 7-year-old sister, and I just think if she was standing at the fence or had walked up to the fence, would he have done the same thing to her?
Is my mic on? Oh, thank God.
Hello?
Okay. That was on your end?
That was on me.
I'm having trouble hearing out of one of my ears, and I thought, oh, no, I've gone completely deaf.
Gone full deaf now.
That was a good bit. I legitimately thought I lost all hearing. From the jaws of a modern-day dinosaur, the talons of a Tennessee hawk, and even a shipping crate voyage halfway around the world, here's 3 examples this morning of some very resilient pets. First, in Florida, a family dog had the scare of a lifetime, yanked into an alligator's jaws right from his backyard, yet somehow made it out alive. The 6-year-old German shepherd named Zeus suffered a fractured jaw and deep puncture wounds. He had his jaw realigned and wired shut by a vet, all after he broke free from the gator, which busted through the backyard fence and dragged him to a nearby pond.
Oh.
Zeus's owner said the whole family rushed outside to watch in horror as the gator thrashed around with Zeus's head locked in its jaws.
All of a sudden, I couldn't hear him anymore. My dad came in frantic. I had never seen him like that because he's like a tough man. And he's like, the alligator just took Zeus.
Miraculously, Zeus managed to fight off the gator and started swimming to safety. But after everything he'd been through, he got exhausted halfway. That's when Susan's mom waded right into the pond and pulled out their torn-up pup. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has deployed trappers, but so far, the guilty gator has disappeared.
I want to make sure I'm getting this right. The gator busted through the fence and
Yeah.
came after the dog?
The gator went right through the fence.
What the heck?
He was starving for Zeus.
Dude.
That would be absolutely horrifying and traumatizing.
Yeah.
To watch your dog swallowed up and thrashed around its head and its mouth. But I'll say this much. If I were an alligator, that's what I would do every day in Florida, is try and eat a dog.
I think I would, too. I'm with you on
such easy pickings 9 times out of 10 if you're an alligator, I would imagine.
From the swamps of Florida to the hills of Tennessee, another pup had a heart-stopping encounter. After a dog-eat daycare in Tennessee reported a hawk swooped down and carried off a 3-pound teacup Yorkie.
Yeah, see, that's why we don't let our dog outside.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, shoot, I'm sure your cities do it, too. We get emails from the city saying, hey, careful, coyotes out there. If you got a small dog, stay with them. An owl got a neighbor's dog once. That was pretty gross.
They'll do that. They'll do that.
They like the brain, too.
Do they really?
Yes, they do.
I'm sorry? Owls like to eat brains?
Yes.
They're zombies?
Huge fans.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Gross. That dog is also doing well. Max, the tiny Yorkie.
It got picked up by a hawk?
Yeah.
And the hawk let it go?
It dropped it. Yeah, I don't know if it let it go or dropped it or what happened, or maybe Max fought him off. He had been just dropped off at Paws and Claws while his owner set off on a cruise. Shortly after, though, a hungry hawk snatched him and later dropped him in a nearby woman's yard. That woman said the dog looked frail, and she was concerned about him.
Probably just friggin' terrified.
Oh, I can't even imagine. She took or had the time of his life. I guess one of the two. She took a photo and shared it on Facebook, and that's how she was able to track down Max's worried family.
I have a friend who had a cat growing up, and the cat's name was Lucky, funny enough, and it was picked up by a hawk or an eagle, some type of big bird. And the only reason they found out is because, so the cat disappeared. It came back like 10 days later, and it didn't want anybody, it wanted to be home, but it didn't want anybody to touch it. It was very irritable. They eventually got it to the vet, and it found claw marks, from its stomach going all the way up to its back, and said, the cat must have fought off whatever grabbed it, and it dropped, and survived the whole attack.
The cat wasn't quite in the mood for company when he got home.
No, I guess they get like that if they get into a serious fight with another animal. They don't want to be around.
I don't want
humans.
to talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone.
Very moody.
Nick, did they ever explain those mysterious scratches that ended up on your back after that bikini team showed up at Povs in Andover that one night?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I have no good explanation for it.
You were anything but irritable the next day. I mean, you bounced in the studio. You were so excited.
I've tried to spin those. I've tried to spin a story about those scratches for years, and none of them seem to go over very well.
And finally, a determined little cat had quite the tale to tell.
A kitty?
A kitty. She survived an epic journey over 6,500 miles, all the way from China to Minnesota, sealed inside a shipping container. The tiny calico was found in a warehouse in Oakdale after the container she was hiding in made the long trek across the Pacific. When workers began unloading crates, they spotted her tucked away under a pallet, severely dehydrated and dangerously thin, but somehow still hanging on. Rescuers from Companion Animal Control were called in to help, and they shared photos of the brave feline on their social media pages last week. For 3 long weeks, she likely survived by licking condensation and maybe catching a rodent or two, they wrote. That cat is now in the care of Northwoods Humane Society.
I bet he's not feeling too talkative.
No,
either.
not at all.
No.
Not going to talk. Several stories lately suggest Americans' roads are seeing more tempers than traffic, as seen in 3 recent examples of tempers flaring, bullets flying, and fast lanes to felonies, like in this first story from the land of Lincoln. A 34-year-old man let his anger get the best of him during a road rage incident and fired a gun at another car simply for driving too slow. According to Illinois State Police, the man became furious when the vehicle in front of him was going only 50 miles an hour on the freeway. Instead of just changing lanes or backing off, he pulled a gun and fired twice at that car.
That's great.
In Missouri, a 53-year-old man was arrested after a traffic jam got shooty. Caught in bumper-to-bumper traffic, a man apparently got angry when another driver wouldn't let him merge. So he did the reasonable thing, pulled out a gun, and fired into the passenger side of that other car.
These incidents are on a rise, and it's important for us to be aware of those so that we can adjust our driving behaviors appropriately to ensure that we're not involved in these types of incidents.
And what started as a dispute over a missing turn signal quickly escalated into a crash and gunfire in Florida. The incident began when a 33-year-old was waiting to turn out of a parking lot. At that moment, a 20-year-old man turned into the same lot without using his turn signal. The younger man parked, but the older man wasn't ready to let it go. He reversed and pulled up to confront him. The younger man and a teenager got out and, according to the older man, flashed a gun. Surveillance footage later showed the older man trying to leave the scene several times, but stopped repeatedly to continue the argument. Eventually, he pulled onto the street, reversed, and accelerated toward the younger man, smashing into a stop sign, a tree, and then striking him in the leg. And that's when the teenage passenger grabbed a gun and fired into the older man's Jeep.
Can we start making the penalties for these road rash bitches a little more severe, just so when they do act up like this, we don't have to deal with them for a very, very, very long time, if ever again?
I'm hoping that happens. I guess
is that happening? I don't know. I don't follow.
It very well could be.
Is someone working on that?
I don't follow such things, but
I saw 3 dudes today that I was on the way to work, at 3 in the morning, that I'm positive ended up killing each other.
No way.
It was out of control the way these guys were. I mean, one guy basically pitted the other dude. It was crazy, these 3 dudes, right over here, right by work.
That's ridiculous.
I just think they should lose their driver's license forever.
I'm with you on that. It probably wouldn't stop them, but at least, it'd be
okay, well, then put them in prison, whatever you got to do. I'd like these to be a little more of a one and done, where when you act like this, you're just done.
A 16-year-old in Maryland gave into the dark side and went on a stunning crime spree, breaking into 121 cars in a single night, only to be released just hours after his arrest and immediately do it again.
Oh, man, you have a chance.
Breaking into at least a dozen more vehicles, and cops are pissed.
He has a passion. He can't be stopped.
He's doing what he loves.
The teen was arrested by Laurel police on the morning of May 4th, Star Wars Day, after a surge of break-in reports flooded in. Fittingly, the case was handled by Laurel Police Chief Russ Hamill, who shares a last name with Mark Hamill there, the actor who played Luke Skywalker.
We arrested a young man, 16 years of age, and managed to link him to all 121 events throughout the region. A search warrant was served at his home, resulting in the recovery of numerous credit cards, over 20 sets of vehicle keys, and other evidence linking him to these crimes.
I wish I could say that was the end of it, but it wasn't, Chief Hamill said during a press conference referencing the fresh wave of break-ins that occurred just the next day.
There needs to be an amount of accountability. That's the only way they're going to learn not to do this, and they need to make sure that the people, our victims, at least in some way, are made whole from their losses.
Hamill didn't mince words, slamming the system that released the teen, calling it broken. Yeah, sounds that way. I mean, how are they going to think this kid, in a couple hours and, just getting in the holding cell is going to change anything?
121 cars.
Yeah,
and
he
then
needs
12
to get some
more.
serious time.
That's pretty incredible.
It's a hell of an encore.
The troubling trend isn't limited to Maryland. Grand Theft Auto Puberty Edition hit St. Cloud as two 14-year-olds in St. Cloud were arrested for attempting to steal a pair of Hyundais. St. Cloud police warned a popular Kia and Hyundai theft trend, which hit the Twin Cities in 2023 and 2024 due to viral TikToks, has reached their city. They said there's been 30 car thefts, or attempts at least, over the past several weeks. Police recommend Kia and Hyundai owners contact their manufacturers to fix security flaws and use a steering wheel lock to deter thieves.
Pain in the ass, man.
A former police officer previously fired for drinking on the job is now facing DUI charges in Florida again. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, 42-year-old Michael DeMeglio came dangerously close to crashing into a deputy's patrol car Saturday, so he was easy to spot. Police say they spotted his Camaro swerving between lanes and crossing into oncoming traffic.
Oh, did he have a Camaro?
He did, yeah. When a deputy tried to pull him over, he didn't stop right away, ignoring multiple attempts before finally coming to a halt. Once stopped, the signs were obvious. They said his breath reeked of alcohol, his eyes were bloodshot and watery. When asked for his driver's license, he reportedly started patting his pockets, staring blankly, and then fumbled around in the center console before finally claiming the license must be in his trunk. He was described as unsteady on his feet and had to lean against the car for balance. They also noted his speech was slurred. He told them he'd been drinking at the beach and was on his way home. A breathalyzer later showed his blood alcohol level at .168, more than twice the legal limit. So they arrested him and charged him with a DUI. He also shared he'd worked as a police officer in Connecticut for 9 years, but was fired for misconduct. In 2021, he and another officer were arrested after being found drinking in a hotel room while on duty.
My license is in my trunk. Shut up, idiot.
Hanging out and drinking in a hotel room, too? What?
While on duty. They didn't want to wait around.
Wow. It's a loser.
Yeah, I got the license in my trunk.
A loser who likes to party, Ashley.
This guy probably should check into the old spin dry, don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, it sounds like he does need
Give it
some
a
help.
shot.
Yes.
Spend a couple days at the spin dry. See what you think.
Yeah, they say it's a sign when it negatively affects your life, right? He's got some pretty key indicators here. He should set down the beer. A former police officer in England has been permanently banned from law enforcement after it was discovered he faked over 100 hours of work. The 31-year-old, who was working from home, used a simple trick to make it look like he was being active on his computer. He repeatedly held down keys on his laptop at intervals, giving the illusion he was working when he actually wasn't. His Control-Alt deception unraveled after a keystroke audit was conducted last year. That revealed his keystroke count was far higher than any other person in similar roles, raising some red flags. Although he resigned...
It's too good.
What's that?
It's too good.
Yeah, wait a minute. Nobody hears that good. Although he resigned before the force could fire him, the hammer still came down, and he's now on the national barred list, permanently prohibited from policing or any type of law enforcement role.
Well, what the hell is he going to do now?
Shockingly, or perhaps sleepily, the former officer admitted to spending long periods pressing and holding down just the Z key in a Word document. And sometimes he did it for like an hour, just holding down a Z key.
Well, that sounds like more work than actual work.
I'm with you on that. I suppose your brain's at rest, but outside of that, you're right. In total, he faked 103 hours of work across multiple shifts over a 4-month span, sometimes for more than 4 hours in a single go. And while those hours were officially documented, the audit suggested he may have been getting away with the scheme for over a year.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
I do have friends that have jobs like that where they work from home and they're like, oh, I got to go move my mouse a little bit because every few minutes it tracks your activity on the keyboard. So you just got to move the mouse around a little bit, type a sentence or two, and then you can just go back to playing video games.
Crazy.
And weren't there programs that would kind of do something similar?
Mhm.
Make it appear that you're working?
Yep.
Yeah, it does sound like a lot of work to get out of work, for sure. Shia LaBeouf is 39 today.
How's he doing?
Hell out of here.
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a while.
Joshua Jackson, 47. Peter Dinklage, 56. Hugh Laurie, 66. Joe Montana, 69. Shout out to Denver Jesus, Let's Ride, and Mosh Crusher Jesus, sobering up after a 3-day binger in Vegas. Only one 3:30 a.m. face plant in a casino hotel hallway, though.
You'll take
That's
it.
not bad.
So they're coming out of that thing relatively unscathed. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
I'm a big guy. I'm a big, strong guy.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
We interviewed 9-year-old Sophia here before the game, and I asked her what her favorite part of Florida Panthers games are. Sophia, what is your favorite part of Panthers game?
The fighting.
The fighting. Okay, so now I have to ask you, now that it has become the big story from this game, what did you think about the fighting, especially in that third period?
It was really good, and I really liked how they punched each other a lot.
So do you want to be our Local 10 fighting hockey expert?
Yes, of course I would.
I'll be damned.
Coolest little girl ever.
That's incredible.
That was my favorite part of hockey when I was little, too.
Yeah, there's a young kid being interviewed at the last Stanley Cup game. She likes the fighting. She does.
She's so cute. Oh, my gosh.
She was very excited about it.
I mean, I liked it a lot more when guys weren't just slapping each other in the helmet and the half shield, but fighting should always have a place in hockey. Good morning to a couple of dudes who I think would be very easy to beat in a fist fight. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't think either one of you would present much of a problem in a fist fight.
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know.
Have either of you ever been in a fist fight?
Brad's got that farm boy mentality. You never know.
Yeah.
Fights
The only,
dirty.
the only problem is I can't stand up on skates, so you might have me there.
Oh, we don't have to be on ice. No,
do
no,
the
no.
parking lot.
We don't have to. Just in a park. Yeah, after bar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After we get thrown out of the bar.
Brad's always taller than I remember him to be, so I feel like he's got long reach on him.
Yeah,
Yes.
You got a point there.
And he's in the shape of his life right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just ask him.
I didn't bring this up again.
Well, but you did a few times where you kind of you kind of forced it into a few conversations.
I'm not, though. I haven't brought it up today.
At Randy Shaver's gala there at Medina Ballroom, you said, "Well, it's awful easy to sit behind, at this dinner table when you've lost all this weight. It's."
Oh, I did not say that.
No, you didn't say that.
Yeah,
You're
he's
right. I
making
made
fun
that
of
up.
me for all the weight I've gained,
I
too. It
did
was
not.
ridiculous.
That's a lie.
And he was openly bragging about how he skipped the potatoes because he's going carb-free right now, just protein.
I didn't do that either.
He brought his own protein shake with him.
Ashley, you're not kidding. I remember him saying, well, looks like Ashley gained all the weight I lost.
Oh, yeah.
That was so rude.
Yeah.
You got a good fist fight story, Brad or Randy?
No, I really don't. No.
Well, see, that's why I
got
say
into one fight.
you've never been in one.
It was in. I got into one.
Well, you did get into one.
In sixth grade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's intense.
One of those after-school specials. Yeah.
Everybody crowd around in a circle?
Yeah, it was one of those deals. Yeah.
Cool.
What led up to it?
God, I don't remember it, Nick. That was, 50 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Or 60 plus years ago.
Did you hold hands with the wrong girl on the playground?
No, I don't think a girl was involved. I got a feeling it had something to do with recess and stealing a ball or whatever. I don't know. But
There was a stretch of about 3 summers between I was about 27 and 29 where I played, and I don't understand why I did this because I played on a slow-pitch softball team after my baseball team.
Well, what do you mean? Why would you? A lot of folks do it.
Because, well, I know, but a lot of people take that stuff too seriously.
Oh, there's no question about that. Yeah.
And I was in a league up in the old Bebop up in Blaine.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Sure.
Blaine.
Yeah.
And I saw fights pretty much every Friday night, but I was never part of one.
Yeah. Yeah. Some guys get a little too dialed in to slow pitch softball. There's no question about that. I played with some of those guys. So that was the one fist fight for you, Randy Shaver.
Yes.
Boy, I don't think I've been in a fight since 6th grade either. It's been a really long time. I've had a good run.
Let's get you in a good fight, Josh.
I think I get too exhausted too quickly.
I'd be too protective over you.
That's the problem. That's the problem at our age now is the cardio behind it.
It's too much work.
I'll wrestle my dogs. I'll fight my boys. And I get exhausted immediately.
It's the cardio.
Yes.
I bet.
Josh, I get exhausted driving to go babysit my grandkids.
Oh, no, I got to get out of the car.
Get there?
By the time you get there, you're just exhausted.
By the time I get there,
Takes a nap in the parking lot before he goes in.
All you're doing is steering a motor vehicle. Speaking of fist fights, again, don't miss this Saturday out in Maple Lake. Randy Shaver and I throwing out first pitches as part of a town ball tournament out there in Maple Lake. And all of the money from this tournament goes to Randy Shaver's Cancer Research Foundation. We talked about it a couple days ago, but it's coming up Saturday. We'll give you another heads up maybe on Friday to come to Maple Lake. Randy throws out a first pitch at noon. I go at 2:30. Bunch of great ball games happening.
Yep. If you like town ball, it's a great 3 games in one spot and 6 really good teams. So
we're going back to. I'm going back to Maple Lake where they whooped my ass all those years ago.
Looks like there's gonna be a cool silent auction and some split the pot type things to mess around with. So looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
Ryan Grahams does such a great job at setting this stuff up.
That dude could win a fist fight, by the way.
Ryan Grahams?
Oh man,
the kid for sure.
We met him. We met him at Randy's.
He looks like a wrestler.
Oh, he doesn't intimidate me at all.
Well, I'm just saying, I'd want him on my side.
I can take him.
Forearms the size of a roll of paper towels.
I don't know.
He's never lost a fight in his life.
I thought he looked pretty soft, but anyway.
Why? You started already. You know you're going to get your ass kicked.
I thought, he's from Broughton. At least he'll fight me one-on-one.
Sure, okay.
He's from Broughton.
I'm hearing one of Nick's teeth are one of the silent auction items.
They saved it from all those years ago.
Yes.
Just a little yellow chiclet.
Yeah.
Who brought a yellow chiclet and donated it to the silent? No, that's one of Nick's teeth. What I'm hoping for is I'd like some merch from these town ball clubs. Do they sell their hats and their?
That's a good question. I've been to a couple of these. There was one you and I were in Broughton.
Oh, that was 15 years ago. Yeah.
No, I was there though 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember if they sold. Ryan listens to the show. He may text me and let me know if they're selling some merch.
If he's got the arm strength for it.
You're right.
What are you doing?
You're right about the auction part, but I'm not sure about the merch.
Dang it, I had a...
Dust Dr. Jesus said Ryan is a buddy of his, and listen, he couldn't beat a fly in a fist fight. All right, I had it all wrong. Maybe it's gym muscles.
I had a flyer here for the event, and I'm going to find it, because there's one particular team who I like their nickname so much, I'd like to buy a hat, and I can't find it now. Josh, do you have that anywhere?
No, I was never given
God
that.
dang it.
I'm sorry, I'd love to help you. Maybe I could just...
It's the Litchfield Blues, the Avon Lakers, the Kimball Express, Howard Lake Orphans.
Orphans. The Howard Lake Orphans. And I'll be when I throw out my first pitch, I believe it's Howard Lake versus Monticello. The Howard Lake Orphans. Now that's an original team.
Yeah, you've got to find out the
meaning of that.
Yeah. The meaning. Who's the one with the skunk? Is there a skunk?
That looks like the Monticello Polecats.
Polecats. It's not a skunk. It's a polecat.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I hope they sell T-shirts and hats.
Yeah, they're all very cool logos, all 6 teams that are playing.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yep.
This Saturday out in Maple Lake ski. Oh, man, what else is going on? What were you chuckling about over there, Cubby?
I don't know if I should read this or not. Sorry, it got me. There's some pretty good text coming in on Ryan.
On Ryan Graham's.
Oh, no.
This one of them says he's got a wiener like a Canadian moose. Okay, that got me. I'm going to print you one. You tell me if I can
Canadian
read this.
moose.
I just found out the meaning behind the Howard Lake Orphans.
All right, go ahead.
They didn't have a corporate sponsor in the early days of their existence, so they called themselves the Orphans because they didn't have a corporate
nobody would sponsor
Oh, that's
them.
great. I love that origin story.
Very clever.
I like that quite a bit. All right. We started off talking about violence, fighting in hockey. If you don't mind, real quick. I don't know. I read an article on SB Nation the other day. One of their writers was complaining This is the headline to the story. And I know we don't get to Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals until, I don't know, maybe the beginning of next week. I'm kidding, it's tomorrow night. SB Nation, the headline is, the NHL is to blame for a disgusting Game 3 in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay, Joe Buck.
They didn't like the violence and all the penalties. They called it bad for the league. And I know
Lame.
I know none of you watched the game, so this might go.
No, I did.
Here's a text that says, Ryan, the kid from Brownton who's hooked me and Randy Shaver up for this weekend's fundraiser out in Maple Lake. Ryan is such a wuss, he can't even beat off.
That's the one that got me.
Oh.
That's from you picked him up, you dropped him, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
That's the one that got me.
If he's not listening, somebody is telling him right now to listen.
Well, his phone is blowing up. If he's not listening.
That's one of my favorite things where we'll reference someone in our life. Like, let's say my brother and some of his coworkers listen, and then he'll just text me later saying, hey, thanks for that.
Yeah, I love doing that,
his
too.
His phone explodes.
Heck yeah. There's been times, real quick, there's been times where my fiance wakes up because he doesn't wake up until around 8 a.m., and he'll wake up to a text message from somebody he knows, and they're like, hey, I'm sorry, man.
There is a pretty good crowd out there. We got a decent crowd out there, and so when you dump somebody's name, there's going to be... My brother gets that once in a while. He'll walk into work, and his coworker will say, well, your brother was lighting you up this morning. Yeah, I mean...
I didn't know he tried to kill you when you were younger.
Right. So at least one writer from SB Nation didn't like the violence and the penalties in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They say there's nothing wrong with physical hockey, but this was beyond that. So it makes me wonder, did you never watch a hockey game up until the last couple of years?
Yeah, but maybe he's referring to the same thing you did after Game 3.
Well, he's not, Randy Shaver. He's not.
Okay, all right.
Because after Game 3, I came on the show and I said,
right,
I'm all about violence and sending a message and cheap shots, but the Edmonton Oilers just came off so childish with those actions in Game 3. It looked like a bunch of temper tantrums. It just looked funny. It didn't look like the old school type of Stanley Cup playoff.
And you usually see it, once or twice, and then it's done. You usually see a couple of, but they just kept at it.
They couldn't stop.
Over and over, yeah.
Again, like a child who's having a tantrum. So what this writer is complaining about is Florida's style of play. And this is where it leads me to believe that, okay, this guy really never watched hockey until the last couple of years. He's complaining about how Florida will instigate trouble. A couple of cross-checks to the kidneys, a couple of face washings, and then Edmonton retaliates and takes a penalty. He was complaining that Florida pushes the limit as far as they can without taking a penalty. Edmonton retaliates. They get the penalty. Florida.
That's what hockey's all about.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that is trying to instigate something to get them in the penalty box, to get a power play,
right?
And you don't get caught.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
So that's been going on for years and years and years. That's just how they play the game, especially in the playoffs. If it wasn't for that style of play, and here we go, people are going to say again with the 1991. If it wasn't for that style of play, the North Stars wouldn't have made it out of the opening round of the playoffs in 1991.
Yeah.
You push and you push and you push your opposition physically and mentally until they snap. They punch you in the mouth. You go on the power play. You win the game.
It's kind of weird. You see more and more articles just like this one. People don't like the fighting. I don't really understand.
It's because the game has changed. They are gaining a new crowd who didn't watch in the 80s and 90s, and I get it. If you're 22 years old, why the hell would you have watched? It's just, wake up. This is part of the beauty of the game, in my opinion. Right here, the guy says, it's a great strategy, but that doesn't mean it's good for the league. You're overthinking the whole thing. This is how these guys are taught to take advantage of their opponent.
Well, I mean, if you go to or even if you watch a hockey game, if there's a fight on the ice, you never hear the crowd going, "Oh, disgusting!"
Oh no, not again!
Time for a bathroom break.
Nobody cheers or gets crazy excited at that moment.
Here's a listener who texted in to say that writer was probably the guy who came up with the Lady Bing trophy for sportsmanship. I hate sportsmanship. How do they finish this off? They say it's likely a foregone conclusion that Florida will win the series.
Yeah, feels that
Well,
way.
if Edmonton does that, they have no shot.
Right.
If they can't learn how to, not only retaliate in the right way, but to not play the way that they played the last 2 periods of that game the other night. I did watch it, and they don't have a chance.
If you don't collect yourself and move on, you'll have no chance.
Yes.
So this guy says it feels like a foregone conclusion that Florida will win the series. They've found a cheat code to win Stanley Cups. Dude, okay, so you're new. We'll give you a break this time because you're new. You must be new if you're talking like this.
Nick?
Yeah.
I have an update.
Uh-oh.
Ryan's listening.
Yeah?
Here's what he says.
Oh, God.
I haven't been in a fight since 8th grade. Tell Nick I'll be like the mayor of Maple Lake. I'll be the last one to get a few kicks in. And he says most teams have some extra hats available.
Well, that's great.
There you go.
By the way, other people strongly disagree with the idea he couldn't even beat off. Some guy said, I bet he could beat off 100 guys.
No.
My God.
Oh, the man's got a family.
I hope he knows that this started with a compliment, a genuine compliment. And then it took a dark
as these things often do.
That's true. It started so innocently.
Were we not thanking him for the invite? Is that how it started?
and I had mentioned we were talking about tough guys and fights, and I said, now that's a guy that looks like he could win a fight.
It all started with a compliment.
It was a very genuine compliment.
And speaking of genuine, you're genuinely attracted to short, muscular men.
I guess I am. Sure.
Yeah. Because you've taken a liking to this Ryan, and you've also always had a crush on Curtis.
Well, I'm only human. That
My
can't
pal,
be exclusive.
Curtis is compact and quite firm.
I like big guys like House, too, though.
You have a type. In closing out this stupid article about how Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals was disgusting, this writer says, it's not good for the league if all teams do is try to out-dirty each other when games matter most. Again, you're new. We'll give you a break this time.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like this is the first season he's watched hockey. Like
it really does. I agree with you.
It's like a young kid. I'll give this hockey a shot.
What's the line again? Hello, young people.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
Hello, fellow kids, or whatever it is.
All right, then. All right, I said. The Twins were absolutely crushed at home last night by the Texas Rangers, 16-4. They got 2 more games to go in this series. They better buck up, for Christ's sake.
If you like offense, it was a great game to watch. Every player in the starting lineup for both teams had at least one hit last night. So everybody jumped into the action. The Twins just couldn't put enough together, though. And Texas had 2 big innings last night.
Yes.
The 5th and the 8th, and that was it.
The Twins were getting guys on base.
Yeah, they had opportunities, but they just could not. I mean,
and they couldn't stop the Rangers.
No, and their pitching was, between Woods Richardson, Topa, and Alcala, it was just not good.
Now, I hope I'm wrong about this, but last night felt to me like the beginning of some dark times for the Twins.
Ooh, don't say that.
I hope I'm wrong, but with the injuries the injuries piling up, Simeon, Woods Richardson, and damn near everybody else who took the mound last night just got effing slammed.
Yeah. Well, the good news is you still got Joe Ryan and Ober in your rotation.
Yes.
So you've got a guy that, can be a stopper to any sort of a losing streak or any sort of bad feelings like you were talking about. All they need to do is go out and pitch a great game. But I understand the trepidation because, again, the Twins are going to be relying on these young guys who, Simeon Woods Richardson pitched pretty well last year, in certain times last year.
He did.
So he knows what's going on. But they are going to rely on some young arms here to get them through probably the rest of the season unless they make some sort of a trade.
Okay.
part of what got them back into where the position they're in now in May was because every single night it seemed like they got a quality start or an awesome start.
They did.
And now and now you've got a couple of guys not there anymore in the rotation. And yeah, you like Randy said, you've got a couple of guys left who are solid, but that puts more pressure on them. They can't have an off night, or else you're going to have a 3 or 4 game.
And you may see the Twins do a bullpen game or two. They may try and do something like that. We see a lot of teams do that, where they'll throw, they'll start a reliever and let them pitch like just 2 innings just to get them going. They may do that a couple of times just to give their starters a break. And maybe, when you do something like that, you skip a rotation spot. Let's say, for example, it's Simeon Woods Richardson. Maybe you do a bullpen game and you skip a start for him. Just to give them a little bit more rest or a little bit more time. I mean, there's some things they can do, but, I mean, this is the way it's going to be. This is not a quick fix, because this is the way it's going to be for a while.
I'm sorry to be a dick here.
Because of Lopez.
Yes, because of Lopez and
his injury.
I don't want to be this guy, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Jorge Alcala has got to go. That dude can't get anybody out. Jorge Alcala's gone. He's got to go.
Yeah, his ERA is almost 9 right now. He has been pretty bad. Yeah.
Game 2 tonight, David Festa pitches.
But, I will say this too, Nick. He's bad, but sometimes,
Jorge Alcala,
sometimes managers will just leave a guy in so that they don't have to waste any more arms in the game that's lost.
Right. You hope maybe that guy can turn a corner.
So Alcala was in there. He was going to pitch regardless of what was happening, because they just weren't going to throw any more arms at a game that was out of control.
The Twins could use
which is why you saw Jonah Bride pitch the last inning.
I was going to say, the Twins could use a White Sox slump buster, but we don't even get them until August. That sucks.
Yeah, but the White Sox are actually playing pretty good baseball right now. If you've watched, I mean, Shane Smith threw a great game the other night. They're actually playing pretty decent right now.
I thought I just saw they just swept somebody not that long ago.
Well, Colorado did, but the White Sox are playing pretty good baseball.
They're a force to be reckoned with. 35 years ago today, in 1990, 35 years ago, Nolan Ryan pitched his 6th no-hitter, which made him the oldest man to throw one. And then the following season, he threw another.
Yeah.
And that record is still, and there's no way it's ever going to be busted.
Well, don't say that. I mean,
7 no-hitters?
We've seen...
There's no way.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. I don't know that guys don't even have 7 complete games in a year or in a career anymore.
We're seeing pitchers getting taken out of games in the 7th and 8th innings when they got a friggin' no-hitter going these days in the minors and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was 44 years old when he threw his 7th no-hitter. Okay, so last night when the Twins game got out of hand, I opened up, what do you call this thing here again, Josh?
Your cell phone?
Cell phone. I opened up my my cell phone, and I turned on YouTube, and a few old episodes of This Week in Baseball, hosted by Mel Allen.
Mel Allen,
popped up. And then you know how it goes on your YouTube, where so I watched a couple old episodes of This Week in Baseball from 1982. Yeah. It's like Butch Weiniger with a triple. Anyway. Yeah. And then a video popped up, and I watched some of it. Last night, I watched at least part of the 1986 Major League All-Star Game from Houston, Texas.
That's so weird.
In the Astrodome.
In the Astrodome. And I had a little trouble, Cubby, keeping a hold of my emotions.
Oh, I bet. That's
because the first 2 batters in the American League lineup in the 1986 All-Star Game, the first 2 batters in the American League lineup, leading off, Turkey Bucket.
Oh, boy.
Batting second, Ricky Henderson.
Oh, gosh.
And just to see those guys when they were young, especially Kirby coming out with that powder blue uniform in 86.
Oh, that's so
my
sexy.
gosh. Yeah.
Ah, my damn. The rest of the AL lineup, I think it went like Jim Rice, Wade Boggs, Cal Ripken. I can't remember, but I spent a little time with that last night and enjoyed the hell out of myself. Over the weekend, the Savannah Bananas played back-to-back games in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Carolina Panthers football stadium. And in 2 days, they had a total attendance of 148,000 people.
Wow.
They sold that football stadium out twice in consecutive
That's crazy.
days. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But those guys are just having so much fun right now.
You know who was there as a special guest?
Oh.
Playing at the Carolina Panthers? The Pink Crayon. Andy Dalton.
Huh.
They had Adam Thielen out there, too, I saw. He's from here, by the way.
Oh, really?
He was undrafted.
I've heard that. I've heard that before.
He's from here.
Yeah, in Minnesota.
And we are from here.
Correct.
That's where we are right now.
That is so cool.
That's a cool connect. If you ever run into him, you should bring that up.
That is so. The Pink Crayon was there. Andy Dalton. They say banana tickets are comparable now to the last Taylor Swift tour.
Oh.
As far as trying to get your hands on a...
yeah. I want to go so bad.
You know, if it gets kids into baseball, that's great, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not the traditional way, but if a kid gets into Savannah Bananas and then becomes a huge baseball fan, and we can stop reading those articles about how kids hate baseball and aren't playing Little League, numbers are down, it'd be fantastic.
It would be a hell of a deal.
Nick, I'm looking at the 1986 All-Star rosters.
Yeah.
Some pretty, Jeff Reardon pitching for Montreal.
You give me the name, I'll tell you what team they were playing for and their jersey number. Go.
Tim Raines.
Jeff Reardon, 41, Montreal Expos.
Tim Raines.
Montreal Expos, number 30.
Okay. Keith Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez at the time was playing for the New York Mets, number 17.
How about John Franco?
Cincinnati Reds, 31.
Oh, my God.
He's self-ringing his bell before we even
Because I know I'm going to be right. What?
How about Wally Joyner?
California Angels, number 21.
Oh, my. How about Don Ossie?
Don Ossie, God dang it, was a pitcher. Don...
Spelled A-A-S-E.
Yeah, I remember Don Ossie, but I cannot remember his club.
I'm going to stump you.
Yeah, you are. Baltimore?
Yep.
Okay, so that's where's a buzzer where I'm wrong? You won't need it very often. You won't need it very often.
How about Rich?
Is jacking off.
Let's say 42.
Who? What was the name? Randy, what was the name?
How about Rich Gedman?
Rich Gedman was a catcher for the Boston Red Sox and wore number 10.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is not just because I watched a little bit of the game last night. I'm just that damn good.
How about Mike Witt?
Mike Witt was a pitcher. I can't remember the...
Oh, I got the team. If you don't...
Yep.
Give it to me, Brad Ryder.
California Angels.
Yes.
Number 19?
Big right-hander. Mike.
Yes.
Yep.
He weighed about $140, sopping wet.
One more.
I got one that's gonna stump you. Ted Higuera.
Teddy Higuera was a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers and wore number 49.
Damn.
I win again, Josh.
That's awesome, dude.
I win again.
That's crazy.
So last night at the Twins game, it was Dollar Dog Night. Speaking of hot dogs.
Yeah, how'd that go, by the way? Did they...
Oh, they had a good crowd.
Did they have a good crowd?
It was a Prince night, right, Josh?
Yeah.
And Dollar...
My kid was there. She said it was awesome.
Speaking of hot dogs, Joey Chestnut reportedly is now in talks again to make his return to the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Josh, I know Joey is your all-time favorite athlete, but I can't lie to my life partner. I just don't care anymore.
Oh, I told you before. I've finished my love for this sport a few years ago.
Are we both done?
Oh, yeah.
I'm done.
For a while, I really, really loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I still think the announcers do a great job. The little bits I've heard. I mean, I'll watch like the last few seconds every year.
Have we all reached a point now where we just don't care what Joey Chestnut is putting into his mouth anymore?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
we
good.
do. Yeah.
They're going to go ahead with Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight live from Indianapolis. Game time is 7:30 on Channel 5. She's tied at 1 win apiece between the good guys, the Indiana Pacers, and the bad guys, the Oklahoma City Thunder. So
Series switches to Indianapolis tonight.
Yeah, so what do you think of this theory? My wife and I differ on this. She says you should root for the team that beat you to win it all, so then at least you can say you were beaten by the champions. I can't do that.
No, I don't like that.
I don't think a lot of people care about that.
What do you mean you don't think a lot of people care about what?
It does have some serious consolation trophy vibes.
You mean the conversation, or what do you mean?
That it actually matters. That matters. I mean, yeah, I'm not so sure.
I personally can't hate a team for 5, 6, 7 games and then turn around and cheer for them.
No.
After they've beaten my club. So I don't go along with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like those guys.
I guess I look at it differently. Both of these teams to me represent a shift in the NBA right now, and I honestly don't care which team wins. I'd like to see OKC win just because they had the best regular season and, probably deserve the opportunity to be the champion just because of how hard they've worked to get to this point. But to me, more than anything else, this represents a different, maybe a shift in the way the NBA is played, because it's a copycat league, right? It used to be the superstars. You get the 3 superstars together, and that's how we're going to win. And this is not necessarily how these teams are winning. They're winning because their bench is deep.
Yeah.
They're winning because they're going to the basket to get free throws.
Defense,
for sure. Defense.
To me, both of these teams are very likable teams. I know you just did that with OKC, but I think both of these teams are very likable teams if you like basketball, and so that's why it's hard to root against any of either one.
If you're telling young people, young kids who are basketball players to watch the NBA to learn something, these are 2 teams you'd like to watch.
This will be a good one
because they do it the right way. They play. They're not settling for 3-point shots. I know the trend has gone that way for the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah. These 2 teams don't do that. They shoot them, but they don't. That's not how they got where they are.
And neither team was built because some superstar wanted to be traded to this team to play with this player. Or that's not how these teams were built. So.
And be honest with you, Nick, get used to this because OKC is going to be here every year. This team is built to last.
I know it sucks.
And they've got draft choices up the wazoo.
Because of the Kevin Durant trade way back in the day, right?
They are and the Clippers trade.
Oh, and James Harden.
They're built for a long run.
I know it's going to be miserable. Specifically, the defense and the overall effort has been impressive by both of these clubs all the way through the playoffs. So I agree with you that if you're a young person and you want to learn how to play basketball, this would be a good series to watch. Over the course of NBA Finals history, the winner of Game 3 wins the series 84% of the time. Wow. 84% of the time. New York Knicks fans are busy making fun of Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, and they're doing a great job.
What is going on, man?
So Karl has been ridiculed on social media for his speaking voice and what fans describe as his zesty personality. This is the first I've heard of this morning. I saw some videos. Some dude on the street went around with a live mic asking Knicks fans for their impersonation of Karl.
Can I get your best Karl Anthony impression? Oh, my God! Zestiest Karl Anthony impression.
After all of that?
The SEC? Best Karl Anthony impression. Oh, my God! Bro, can I get your zestiest Karl Anthony impression? Box out. Box out. Karl Anthony impression.
Oh, my God. Foul.
It's funny, they all did the same thing.
Before.
It's almost like they were prompted beforehand. That was.
Well, I was wondering, they might have been, but they show them stopping people. But you're right, they might have said, "Hey, walk down here and do that." Everybody did the same thing, and some of them were so good, you can see Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes, I agree.
In their representation,
they were very good, and that is how Karl sounds.
Yes,
and how he looks. If you watch the video, some of them the same facial expression.
Right.
He has kind of a higher, whiny voice, and you can watch him in any game when he has a foul called on him or when a foul isn't called. He does that. Oh my God! Every time.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
funny.
I don't think they're. I mean, they're not like criticizing him. I think they're
having fun.
Yeah, they're having fun with it. So I don't. Hopefully, he doesn't take it the wrong way. I just think they're having fun.
I mean, he's got to admit that that's how he sounds. I mean,
yes,
come on.
Right.
I am so glad this came up, though, because maybe like a week ago, my fiance taught me all about this. I had no idea what his speaking voice sounded like. He was playing me like clip after clip after clip, just like dying to himself.
I will tell you, he is one who pays attention to that kind of stuff. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, he does.
I think a lot of the younger guys do for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw where the Timberwolves denied the Knicks the opportunity to talk to Chris Finch, which is not surprising.
Yeah, they
for
said
that head coaching job.
They told the Knicks, no, you cannot talk to Finchie. He's
And
our
the Rockets,
Finchie.
And the Rockets
I love
told
that.
the Knicks that they can't talk to Udoka either. So.
He's our Finchie, and you can't have him just yet, they said.
That's right.
The Minnesota Lynx are going for 10 wins in a row to start the season. They play at Seattle tonight. How about some football stuff that...
Are we going to start talking football?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things.
Here we go.
A couple of things laying around. We need to fill time, Josh, right? We need to fill...
Been tough to find stuff this week. That's for sure.
Should the Vikings go ahead and sign this kid who goes by the name of Jair Alexander? He's a cornerback. He was released by the... Yeah?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a great idea. Sure. Guy's got great experience. He played well in Green Bay. Why not?
All right. Even though
You can never have too many quality defensive players.
No. I don't know what the Vikings' thought process is on their defensive backfield, but I agree with Brad. You can't have too many experienced defensive backs, especially from that division that have played in the division. I just think that's a no-brainer if it's something that fits into what they're trying to do.
I'll tell you what. Okay, you're okay with this move if they make a move on Jair. Very good player from what I read, but injury-plagued.
Yeah, but
take a shot anyway, you said.
If he's out there at this time of the year, you're probably not going to have to spend a lot of money.
That's correct. Right. Yeah, you're not. It's not like he's going to demand a big salary.
Right.
He's not going to demand a big salary. He's just not.
Hard to believe we're probably about a month away, a little over a month away from serious training camp conversations.
It's going to be every time training camp comes around, it just ruins the ass end of my summer.
I'll tell you what, when I was working at CARE, it ruined mine too.
Yeah.
Oh, those hot days down in Mankato.
Mankato.
Yeah.
I hated going to Mankato.
So did we. We hated going to Mankato. They forced us to do it a couple of times. Oh, God,
Oh, my God.
Friggin' the worst job assignment in the world. Go down to Mankato and see if you can interview some Vikings. How about no?
I will say when Bud and Jerry were coaching, there was a little bit better because they would give you a little bit better access. You could walk around the fields and, could see more. You could shoot more video, whatever. When Denny showed up, he nixed all of that. And so you're limited to standing in one place. You couldn't shoot certain times. Your access was limited.
And then it was just boring. It is. That's where I was going next. It's just so boring. It's football practice. we all played football. Football practice is boring.
Sucked.
I mean,
it was boring when you played it yourself, let alone watching somebody else.
For the guys who do this for a living, for like the Kevin Seiferts of the world and guys like that.
How do they not hate it?
They love it, though, because they're always looking for who's not out there. Or they're looking for, the fight to happen. Or they're looking for the breakaway rookie, play or something, right? I mean, they're always looking for that. But the casual fan, honestly, I don't know why you would sit there.
And like you mentioned, it's hotter than Dutch love every single day.
But the stands are packed every single day.
Yeah.
What a bunch of suckers.
They are.
The everyday reporters love it because that's where they build the relationships with the players.
Exactly.
And, things like that. But but yeah.
And the access, you mentioned the access to the players. Like Josh and I have told you a million times, the only way we ever had an opportunity to talk to Randy Moss back in the day is because we baited him with German porno magazines.
Some really weird stuff.
Oh, I love that story. Really hairy, really bizarre German porn.
But he's open-minded. He paged through that. I don't think he ever looked up from those magazines the whole time we talked to him.
No, he didn't. He liked the German porn, at least in the late 90s he did. All right. By the way, Heather has texted into the program. She's a 715er. So, you know.
Oh, she's out.
She's unwashed.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
She said of Jair Alexander, the cornerback, she said, the guy never plays. You don't want him.
Well, when he does play, he's pretty good. He's got a reputation, let's put it that way. Yeah.
I don't know if this means anything to any of you, but the Vikings signed up a tight end by the name of Giovanni Ricci. And I'll tell you that if the dude shows up to practice wearing a black suit carrying a violin case, run for your lives. Giovanni Ricci.
That's a really sweet name.
It says here he spent time with the Browns and the Patriots and the Argonauts last year, but did not appear in any games. But he was spotted hanging out with Tommy DeVito, Henry Hill, and Jimmy Conway on the night that Billy Bats disappeared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Totally. No more shines, Billy.
I know what you're saying.
Maybe you didn't hear about it. You've been away a long time. They didn't go up there and tell you, I don't shine shoes anymore. I'm only kidding with you. We're having a party. I just came home. I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm breaking your balls, and you're getting fresh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry, too. It's okay. No problem. Now go home and get your effing shine box. Mother effer. Goodfellas, 1990. The Vikings also signed a veteran tight end by the name of Josh Oliver. He's been here for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, he's their own guy.
A lot of tight ends over there. What are they planning on? A lot of short passing routes this year or something? Aren't they going to let this?
They got to let it turn him loose, man.
Aren't they going to let this injury-prone and unproven starting quarterback cut it loose a little bit?
Turn him loose, man. Turn JJ loose.
Yeah. They're going to go with the three tight end offense along with JJ.
Yeah, a little wishbone, a little three tight ends.
That's going to be the chant. Let JJ cook.
Not that the head coach has any idea what he's doing. Should have traded him.
Quarterback, yeah.
Right, Ashley? Maybe, the head coach.
Maybe the Knicks want him.
Yeah. Hey, remember when Brad Ryder's old drinking buddy Jimmy Butler caught the first official case of general soreness?
Yes.
A number of years ago. We even started to refer to him.
General soreness.
Right. We even started to refer to him as if that was his military rank.
I love that. I love that bit.
Yes, Jimmy was.
What's up, Twin Cities? This is General Soreness. You're listening to the Half-Ass Morning Show on 93X.
That picture of him in the general's outfit is
I was there. I still remember the night where, we have to come out with the injury report, and that's part of the PR person's job is to, submit the injury report. And I remember looking at that and seeing that, and I'm like, and I looked at the people at our PR, I said, are we really saying this? Are we really saying that it's soreness?
General soreness. It took a while for the gimmick to, it went away. The gimmick kind of came and went. It's back again. Just yesterday, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, some guy by the name of Liam Cohen, he said that their starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, is suffering from general soreness.
It's June.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So that the phrase is back. Somehow this Trevor Lawrence threw too many footballs, and as Brad Ryder noted, it's June. He threw too many footballs at practice, and now he is suffering from general soreness.
What's up, Twin Cities? This is General Soreness. You're listening to the Half-Ass Morning Show on 93X.
Oh my God!
Maybe Trevor Lawrence is a Jimmy Butler fan, and it's a tribute to Jimmy.
Maybe that picture of him popped up on my social media this week. I was dying laughing.
You can't get enough of that joke.
Picture. Oh my God, it's so funny.
You love that gimmick.
I wonder if Trevor Lawrence, if somebody put him in the general's outfit.
Is that meme floating around?
Yeah. Man.
This can't be true. More anxiety than hair Jesus says that new Vikings tight end Giovanni Ricci is the son of Christina Ricci. That's not true.
No.
The actress. Have you guys seen Black Snake Moan?
Yes.
No.
By damn. Is she not dressed in a lot of that movie? Black Snake Moan, Josh. It's Christina Ricci. It's Samuel L. Jackson. And she does not get dressed.
I haven't seen that one. Is that worth a watch? Or
Oh, it's a
you
good
just
movie.
Google
I like
her
it.
naked.
I like it. All right. There you
Nick,
go.
I'm told from Ryan Grams that he has a Howard Lake hat ready for you.
Awesome.
Well, it better be big.
Yeah,
because I have
extra large.
one big, fat, misshapen skull, but I appreciate the effort anyway. I'd love to have a Howard Lake Orphans ball cap
There you go.
to run around to this weekend. Randy Shaver and I in Maple Lake, Minnesota. So there you friggin' go. I think we covered just about every day.
U.S. Open starts tomorrow morning.
Nobody
we'll be talking,
cares about the
we will be
U.S. Open.
talking golf tomorrow
I
morning.
will
we're
not
gonna
say
be-
a word.
Yay.
We're going to be breaking it down.
I will not
We should
make
have a draft tomorrow morning.
Not have a draft.
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
You guys can talk all you want. I'm going to make a
Brad
vow.
Friday, Brad.
You're going to
Brad
go sit in the
Friday.
Yeah.
corner?
Unless it's sarcastic or mean, I will make zero comments
It's the
about
U.S. Open. Nick.
Nobody cares.
It's Father's Day weekend U.S. Open. It doesn't get any better. Other than the Masters weekend, it doesn't get any better.
Talk to these guys, John. Tell them that
I
nobody.
like that they're passionate about stuff.
But
It might not be my thing, but go ahead.
Tell them.
They sound so happy.
Tell them
Come
what they're
on.
doing wrong.
I have no idea what they're doing wrong.
Stop being
U.S.
a
Open
hater,
at
Nick.
Oakmont.
But
It's awesome.
we did do something wrong, according to Tall Enough to Save Your Mom's Knees, Jesus. It was not general soreness. It was a typo. It was genital soreness, which is what you're And that makes more sense when you look at the kid. Sure, I understand.
Oh, you just
We've all been there.
bag of ice.
Yeah, frozen
Bag of peas.
Frozen peas.
The Polar Ice Company. They make these bags of ice. You can get them at your holiday station. You just rest them on your gear, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
So long, Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver. We'll be back with more nonsense like what you've been hearing in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
On 93X.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I am Tom Welling.
Welcome to Talkville,
where it's fun to talk about Smallville.
We're going to be talking to sometimes guest stars. Are you liking the direction Lois is going in?
Yeah, because I'm getting more screen time.
It's good. But mostly it's just me and Tom remembering.
I think we all feel like there was a scene missing here.
You got me, Tom.
Let's revisit it. Let's look at it. See what we remember.
See what we remember.
I had never been around anything like that before. I mean, it was so fun.
Talkville. Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Let's get into it.
The Half-Assed Morning Show.
Minnesota's 93X.
Absolutely just wonderful. Wonderful. That's at least how I would describe my overall experience this morning. I hope I'm not alone. Thanks again for your dedication to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show as we're checking in here at 8:34.
Early.
Like I said, I'm not the only one. I hope I'm not the only one who's having a good time. All right. Yeah, Ashley is pregnant. You know it, we know it.
Yeah.
Sound thrilled.
It's been rough lately.
Let me get this straight.
sorry.
This weekend you have a wedding and you're hosting a baby shower for this urchin that's growing inside of you?
Yeah, it's at my house. My mom's helping hosting, so we're just both doing it. I'm too much of a control freak to let her take the full reins on it.
That's a big weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. The wedding isn't super huge,
No.
so I think that helps. It's only like 50 people or so, and the baby shower is during the day. You know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling come Monday.
So, do you mind if I go this route? I asked you about it off air. What's the term again? You're registered for prizes at Target. What do they call that
It's
again?
my registry.
Your gift registry.
Yep, baby shower registry.
Baby shower is this weekend, and you've given folks, a heads up. You can go get us some stuff for our baby at Target.
Yes.
Your registry really kind of got me nervous for a second yesterday, Ashley. When you share an Amazon account with somebody, you get notifications when things are bought.
Yes.
All of these baby things were purchased by my wife, and all of a sudden I panic. I'm like, does she know something I don't?
Like she's had an affair and the guy knocked her out. I got to say, I saw it coming.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious from the get-go.
Okay.
Something everybody does for weddings and baby showers. You jump on some kind of gift registry, and then your friends and family can look it up and purchase the. Okay.
Yep.
I had to laugh last night, and again, I hope this isn't too personal and you don't get mad at me. But I was sitting with my wife last night. She was browsing through the gift registry. And neither one of us are going to be able to make it, unfortunately, to your baby. Or maybe Dudes. Did you invite Dudes too?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. We won't be able to make it. But my wife was still browsing through. She's very, very fond of you.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love her.
You're by far her favorite on this show.
Nice. I love that.
Mine too. We all love Ashley.
Anyway, so maybe you had to be there. But my wife is scrolling through all of these items in the gift registry. And some of them she's mentioning some of them out loud, and they were quite interesting to me because I don't know word one about babies.
Yeah.
There was some kind of a snot-sucking device in there that you could purchase.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of that? There's like a...
let me check.
You put it up to your baby's face. Because
Sure.
I had to ask my wife, that sounds horrible. What is that?
It's a nasal aspirator.
You put it up to your baby's face, and it'll suck the snot out of a baby's nose.
Yep.
God, those things are disgusting.
I know.
But here's the part where Ashley, my wife, is scrolling, and then she says this out loud. My wife says, "Oh, honey," referring to you.
What?
Oh, honey, you could have left that out. And I said, "What is it?" Hemorrhoid cream.
Was that on here? Let me see.
Who put that on there?
Who put hemorrhoid cream?
Maybe these can be used for that.
Was that a joke? Your fiance's playing a joke on you by tossing hemorrhoid cream?
I guess I have perennial healing foam. Maybe that's what she was
so it's
referencing.
not like preparation H or
No.
not an actual hemorrhoid.
I have nipple cream on there.
Now, wait a minute. If you don't mind me calling a timeout. Perennial cream is for your perineum.
Yes.
Otherwise known as the taint.
Yep. That's, for the burning and the tearing if there's...
General taint pain.
Yes.
Overall.
Yeah, I've been watching videos on how to make, they call them, it's completely leaving my mind, of course. But they're you make your homemade ice packs, essentially, for down there.
You got to have
a lot of different layers of stuff.
I got to ask I don't think my wife did anything like that. I'll have to ask.
Your down there is going to take a pummeling.
Yeah, it's going to.
And there are products that are going to be necessary.
They got all the good stuff. And it's crazy because my mom has looked at my registry, obviously, and my mom is in her 60s. And so obviously when she had kids, it was 30 years ago, and she said, it's insane what we have access to now and what exists for moms that she didn't have. She's like, you bitches.
She had a bucket of hot water and a a wet towel.
She's just mind blown. She said, it's not fair. You're spoiled.
I hope you don't mind, but I skipped past the taint cream when we were deciding.
I understand. It's funny because when I was putting this registry together, Josh.
But it reminded me to put taint cream on my own shopping.
One for Ashley, one for me.
When I was putting this registry together, I thought of you specifically going on there. And it's nice because the way it's set up is the For the Parents tab is at all the way at the bottom of the registry. So you have to scroll through the whole thing. It's the last thing there. And that's where all of this type of stuff is, like all the nipple cream. And I made sure I went through and organized it so that you wouldn't have to go through it to get to other stuff, Josh.
That's hilarious.
That's very considerate of you,
I knew exactly what I wanted to get. As soon as I saw that it was on there, I'm like, oh, perfect. I skipped past all the creams, but I did see the nipple cream, and it did give me a chuckle.
You gotta do it.
So, my wife saw the hemorrhoid medication and said, oh, you did not need to put that on the... She said...
She should have hit purchase.
I thought it would be funny to be the ones to buy you the hemorrhoid.
I would have loved that. You guys give me like a postpartum package.
Just a big old bottle of it.
A Costco size.
She said something along the lines of, now, it happens to every mother. You get problems down there, but you didn't need to put that on the gift registry for everyone to... What's the most expensive item?
The most expensive item.
That's probably what Cubby would do because he's the greatest gift giver in the county.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, Josh bought the most expensive item.
What would it be? You know what I thought would be meaningful? Is the high chair, because that is the item probably that the baby's going to get the most use from. And a lot of families keep their babies' high chairs and whatnot, right?
So, forever.
So to be the one that gives the high chair, something that might stay in your family forever, I thought that would be the most meaningful, but I know very little on the subject. Anyone's family keep your high chair or keep your...
We kept the booster chair.
Keep your crib, your booster chair?
No. The booster chair was a big deal. My mom still has it, actually. It's a light baby blue and white. Cute little
booster
thing.
Chair. You don't know what you don't have to tell us what the most expensive item is.
Oh, it's probably stroller car seat combo. Those can be super expensive. Or even those stupid little things that you put the baby in and they bounce. It's not even electric. Those are like $200.
Oh, those ones where you just kind of roll around in them?
Yeah, it makes it's crazy how expensive things are. But I mean, some things on the other side, some things are cheaper than I expected them to be. So
those rolly things can be dangerous. My older sister apparently wasn't too fond of having a younger brother, and she pushed me down the stairs in one of those rolly joints. It's kind of like I imagine it was kind of reminiscent of Mick Foley getting tossed off the Hell in the Cell by the Undertaker.
Just as devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you were all black and blue in your high school graduation photo?
Yeah, exactly. Still use it when I was 18.
She didn't like you for 18 years.
You know, when I was a tiny little kid, I've been told, and I do have some memory. Yes, I have memories of this. I could not, speaking of like booster chairs and things to keep a child seated and occupied for a while. Sometimes you get them like little games they can bat at above their head and whatnot. Right?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I could not sit still. Absolutely could not sit still. My parents tell me. I do remember when I was little, if I sat on the couch or the ottoman, I had to bounce. I just had to.
You still bounce.
Do I really?
Yeah, you bounce your legs, not your whole body, but you bounce your legs quite often.
I have very...
I do the same thing.
Active legs. But, I mean, I would lift myself off of the couch. I would have to be...
Wow.
I mean, it was psycho. I don't know what got me past it. But the reason I bring it up is something that my folks got me when I was a little character. This kind of a deal... It's got springs, and you hang it from the door frame, and the child can It's like
Johnny Jump Up.
Johnny, that's exactly it.
My cousin had one of those.
It's the same apparatus you see at the state fair with the kids doing the bungee jumping.
Yeah, I've heard that they're not like wonderful for children.
Oh.
But because I really wanted one of those. I was like, that is so cool. I want to have a baby and put him in one of those cool little bungee things.
So I would just, from what I was told, just launch myself violently up and down in the jump. Yeah, and so what do you mean? You heard that it might scramble a kid's brains?
No, I've heard it's bad for their hips.
Oh.
Yep.
Are you planning on getting your kid stuff that you wish you had as a kid?
Yeah, like throughout like his whole childhood. Yeah, definitely.
I did that.
I'm going to make sure that he gets at least, because an underground pool is just insanely expensive and a lot of maintenance.
A friggin'
At least
pool?
an above ground pool. Like at least like a nice, like, one of those nice sturdy ones. Well, I always wanted a pool growing up.
Like a legit one or one you could get like at Walmart? I mean, I'm not ripping those, but like the kind that you have to actually like have somebody professionally install?
Yeah, like a legit one that has a deck attached to it.
They're not cheap.
That kind of style. Oh, I know. But that would be awesome.
A friend of mine has one, and it was way more than I would have thought.
I'd like to be able to do a lot. Like, more, not that I didn't have an awesome childhood, but, do things like camping.
Oh, why would you put the poor kid through that?
I always wish that I did camping when I was a kid, or like go to summer camps. Always wanted to do that.
You weren't so much into camping as you were drinking, smoking.
Yeah.
That was your thing.
Kissing. She was always kissing all the boys.
I loved kissing.
Yeah. Here's a listener who texted in and said a high chair is a super useful gift to give at a baby shower. He says, or he or she says, my child sits there, but mainly it's because he's very food motivated.
Yeah, that's cute.
Some of us remain food motivated, don't we?
I'm pretty sure I still am,
Yeah, I definitely am.
You can...
That's how I get excited about certain events, by the food.
I've lured Josh into places he never wanted to go with just a slice of bologna under his nose. Yeah, he'll just follow it wherever it goes.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
We got to go. We do. In just a handful of minutes. We'll be back tomorrow morning. The sooner we leave, the better chance we can get some time to ourselves. Did you friggin' know, Josh, the average American gets only 20 minutes to themselves every day?
Oh, wow. Gosh, I love our job right now.
I read this study, and that doesn't seem right.
It's that bad? That sounds awful.
I mean, it depends on your family life, right? You live alone. That study just ignore that completely.
Yeah, and then if you're a mom, you always got a little kid with you.
Right. It depends on
how long you poop.
Oh, sure.
That makes a difference.
Depends on a lot of things. Like Josh said, family, if you got babies, if you've got children of any age living under your roof. When I read that statistic, that's just a dark piece of information. We only get 20 minutes to ourselves every day.
That's crazy.
9.5 hours a month, which breaks down to 20 minutes a day.
That's crazy to think about, because I probably get like 7 hours to myself every single day.
Well, are we counting sleeping? I don't know if they count.
I don't believe
They didn't
so.
say anything about sleep.
I'm not.
We must.
They have to say that that's not to yourself. Right? So, yeah, you're taking away those hours.
Take away sleeping.
It didn't say anything specific, but I guess you could guess that's got to be the case.
That sounds terrible. You've lived that life.
Well, yeah, so they threw in family obligations, your work, obviously, any social obligation.
You've lived that life, and you've never lived alone, have you?
For a I tried several times. I would say I've lived alone for maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, man.
That's not enough.
I mean, I even moved to live alone.
That sucks.
And usually what happened was I moved at the time when my friends were getting divorces. So like, hey, dude, I need a place. Can I come stay with you? And then they end up never leaving. So, yeah, that happened to me 3 times.
You've lived you have lived this life of very, very limited free time. Now, I have a listener that just texted in and said, hell, I masturbate for longer than 20 minutes.
But that's in front of people.
You're not doing it right.
Others are saying, yeah, that's accurate. I got 3 kids and this and that. I just thought, wow, if it's that bad, we got to change something around here. That's not right for the average person to only have 20 minutes a day where it's just them. No wonder so many of us are friggin' nuts and are snapping left and right. And
yeah, you need some alone time, some chill time.
Here's another person that wants to know, do they consider drive time as alone time? So, probably not.
That's
right?
my favorite kind of alone time.
I don't think they're considering drive time or sleeping. They're talking about when you
just got nothing to do and you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually, like you, Ashley, I love the drive into work. Drive home's not as fun.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's calming.
No,
it's nobody on the road. It's easy.
Yeah.
I'm okay with driving 9 times out of 10. Yeah, that's shocking. I know personally, it's far more than 20 minutes. I mean, it depends. Some nights, the wife and I, after dinner, we'll watch a program together or something along those lines, but usually not because she does not want to watch baseball with me. She does not. That's my alone time. Every night between about 7 and 9, 8 and 10, I'm watching a game. That's my free time. It just depends on whether I'm alone or not. So 20 minutes sounds way too short. And again, no wonder so many of us have gone bat-ass crazy.
I just did this yesterday. I sent a text to, you, Nick, and our boss when I meant to send it to my wife. And I'm going to guess that's the origin of this text right here. I'm going to read you. It says, can you please Venmo the backflow test guy from that Facebook post? Should be about $80.
Yeah, I was wondering what the heck that was about.
It's got to be. I've done that so many times where I'm like, well, why did it go to that person? I swear I started the text to somebody else.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was meant for one of you guys. I thought, I'll stay out of there.
So, yeah, if you're listening and that information was important to whoever you tried to send it to, just know if you want to get that $80 to the backflow test guy, you're going to have to send that to the correct person.
That's great.
Listener by the name of Steve, a listener by the name of Tanker Yanker Jesus. He says, in reference to our report here on the average American only gets 20 minutes to themselves every day, he says, that's why I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I got all kinds of time to myself.
When we get canned or retire, whichever comes first, likely the canning part, that's the job I've been thinking about doing, being a truck driver, something like that.
My butt would get way too sore.
Do you like cigarettes?
I don't smoke cigarettes, but I could always learn.
Do you like speed, taking pills, speed?
I haven't tried it.
Do you like lot lizards?
Well, I could probably gain a affection for a lot lizard.
I love that term.
Lukewarm chili at a cafe in the middle of nowhere.
I love all lukewarm foods.
I have one more. I have one more question about this. We only get 20 minutes to ourselves every day. Josh, you mentioned some of the most common things that get in the way of our alone time: family obligations, work commitments, financial constraints. How much does it cost to sit there by yourself? Social obligations. Here's the one that threw me. One of the things that gets in the way: guilt. What do you mean? You finally get some alone time and you feel guilty about it?
Yeah, I guess you're ruining it with guilt, sure. Or maybe you're feeling guilty that you're not doing something. Sometimes I get that way.
You skip out on something and you feel guilty for doing it.
Oh, if we have a day off, sometimes I feel guilty about that.
Sure.
So, yeah, I understand.
You are the heavyweight champion of guilt.
I'm pretty good at it, yeah.
So
I don't want to brag, but yeah, I'm pretty good at it.
You know that feeling. You've got a little bit of alone time, but I could be doing something or I could be spending time with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeez.
So I've ruined it with guilt.
This is a friggin' issue. This is a problem.
I agree. I'm sad.
Brewers and High Life Jesus never lived alone. Last night, his wife and kids were gone, so he had a very rare night to himself. He sat on the couch in silence, no TV or anything, and it was amazing. That's funny. I've told you guys that before. That's one of the first times my wife ever left.
She never leaves.
No,
that's the way you say it when he talks about. She just never leaves.
Talk about someone that can't take a hint.
Right.
Never leaves.
You never get any free time. So she left.
She left with the kids. She went on a trip. And it's happened a couple times since. But the first time I told you, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I stood there over the sink and ate my meals. I kind of walked around the house. I mean, I couldn't Netflix cheat on her, so there were some shows maybe I'd want to watch. I couldn't do that. I had no clue what to do with myself.
You see, and if I remember right, in these rare instances that your wife finally leaves for a stretch of time, you usually make a point of scheduling things to occupy your time as opposed to just sitting.
Otherwise, I'll just sit there like a moron. And
but not like a moron, like a free man.
Yeah, I guess. But because I'm not used to.
You're not. You're not. You're not programmed like
that. I don't know what to do here.
You're inexperienced in that department.
I guess I'm just going to make a sandwich and stand over the sink. And then how do I know when to stop eating?
Such a sad image.
If she's not here, how do I know when to stop eating?
Is she the one who tells you to stop eating?
She's the one who tells me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, how many times can a guy Railroad Jesus text in a shout out to his foreman, Dan. He's retiring today after 30 years of railroad service. That's pretty great. And then Railroad Jesus went on to say, quote, "Please don't leave me with these idiots."
Oh, I know that feeling.
Happy 13th to Ava from Dad, Hardcore Flooring Jesus. Drunken Handyman Jesus texted in and said, "I'm out of here, bitches. On my way to Tennessee to marry off my daughter." So congratulations to Abby and Colby from Dad. NBA Jesus texted a happy birthday wish to his smoking hot wife. Happy birthday to August, turning 10 today from Dad. My name is John Jesus. Thank you for being here for us today, and please go have the happiest of hump days.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.